Trusty Ape, at Trusty Ape Co, hashtag Trusty Ape Co, email stupidmonkeyphilosophy@gmail.com. We're about to blow this fucking shit up. Trusty fucking Ape, live. Links down there in the side chat.
Baby. You only got one leg, look.
Let's finish there. We feed our monkeys fruit and vegetables, which we bring into the forest on the back of a tractor. And this is so we can distribute it over large areas to prevent conflict from arising whilst the monkeys are feeding. One of the on the ground. And they'll also eat what they find throughout the vegetation. So grass, leaves, and so as you can see, some of the other monkeys have got involved now. You'll see that it's a lot more, a lot of noise and a lot of shouting for support from other members. It's not too violent.
Yeah, it's quite bad actually. They just started chasing a random monkey up there.
So at certain times of the year, they'll also eat beech nuts and acorns from the tree in the park. And in the bucket was just a sample of what we feed our monkeys throughout the day. So these monkeys are Barbary macaques. They come from Morocco and Algeria, where they live in the mountains at altitudes of up to 2,200 meters. The climate there is very much like our own. It's temperate, which means they have
Aye. As far as I can tell, it is Wednesday morning. Jesus, I hope I got that right. April 10th, 2024. Beautiful morning here in the San Francisco Bay Area, California, USA. I hope you're enjoying your day so far, wherever you are. I'm working with apparently some shoddy Wi-Fi, so I do have a couple different methods here for maintaining the stream. We'll just look at this real quick. If anybody wants to come in, there's a link down there. It's not required. I'm gonna do my thing regardless. Thank you to everybody who stuck with me through that restream. Apologies, I know it's dragging. I'm trying to work with this new hotspot in this location, and it's always a different experience. Inconsistency in streaming. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I am glad that I was able to consolidate that episode into one complete, because the thing was I had to record that whole thing on my phone, and then do the editing. Very, very amateur. So, that was a second attempt at podcasting way before I, figured out how live streaming worked. I don't know what that is. What is live streaming? This is Trusty Ape Live. Panel is open. Come fight me, fight each other, and do so in an ape-like fashion, or don't. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. What is this? So I do have a topic for tomorrow's stream. I'll probably invite a limited panel of folks. Folks, if you get a link from me, it's a special link. Don't share it with anyone else. It's just for you and a couple other people, maybe. And but this one's open. So, not this guy again. No, I know who this is. All right. Why does it not allow me to? Oh yeah, that's right. I do a little differently on this one. What's
Hello,
happening,
Kevin.
Mike? How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. How about you, man?
I am doing fantastic.
I was watching music videos, so yeah. Huh. Gave him an idea. Now he's going to watch music videos.
Bitch. I'm trying to use multiple devices. Welcome in, Halsey.
Hi.
Re-add myself.
I like the avatar. How about that?
Well, hello there, Will.
How's it going, Halsey?
Long time no see.
Yeah, I was telling him I was watching music videos just a while ago. I'm in this 90s, like late 90s, 96 through like 2003 kind of mood.
Nostalgia kick.
Yeah. Oh, the monkey is back.
And
Hooray.
I'm back. Professional live streaming right here. You watching some music videos, Ryan? Is that what I heard?
Who you been talking to? Who told you that?
You just think
Yes.
that monkey fight.
Yeah. What? Monkey fights?
You didn't catch that?
No.
That was amazing. I just searched monkey fights on YouTube and I got a whole slew of videos. Like monkeys beating their babies, and all kinds of
Wow.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as it's educational.
So I saw y'all both were in the restream earlier. What'd you think of my guest Maria? What'd you think of that conversation? Any thoughts on that?
Yep.
There was a lot of lag, and so I didn't really listen to it.
I don't think it's healthy for a woman to not be able to recall how many dicks she's had stuffed in her.
I kind of had the same concern. I didn't bring it up there, but yeah, I mean, that's not my first time hearing that though from a woman.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't agree, but from other women who I have slept with.
Yeah, I
I've
appreciate
heard
her honesty, right? Like that's bold for a woman to say, right?
Yeah, I think it's bold for anyone to say, really, but it's probably more common for men, I guess. I don't know. I'm not that type. I've got a body count for sure.
And you don't know what it is. I heard you say that you would have you need to write it down and count and try to remember them all, right?
Yeah, and actually after that conversation, or at some time, like immediately, like in the vicinity of that conversation, I did that, and It is on paper. I like,
Okay,
and
so
I,
you're in your mid-30s, right?
yeah,
Okay, so a guy is typically gonna have sex. I mean, with every person that he dates for more than 3 dates, right?
if that, yeah, sure,
Right? Yeah. Then there's
yeah,
the and that's an extreme case for most guys. We're like 3 dates and still she's not putting out. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, I'm just saying it's for guys to lose track. It's real easy. We're just surprised when women admit that they lose track because we always look at them as like not being as prolific in that department as we are, you know.
I see it the other way around though. I think women maybe tend to be more promiscuous and they're not as often candid about it, or they don't get caught. You know what I mean? Like guys,
Oh, they get
up
caught.
until a certain point, like a lot of guys will use that as like a status symbol. And be like, oh, look at all the women I've slept with. It doesn't work the same way for women, right? Like the reverse. That's the connotation is slutty.
You've heard the saying, what was it? A key that can unlock many locks is a treasure, but a lock that opens for any key is useless.
I've actually never heard that before, but that's a great analogy, I guess. Could be.
Like women like confirmation that the guy that they're with is desired by other women, right? They want that. So there's nothing wrong with them feeling that dis-ease. Is that what would it be? Being feeling uneasy about a guy, if a
No.
lot of competition.
It's
Yeah,
very
competition.
stressful to know that the person that I'm with has a wandering eye and that there's also women that are willing to shake their asses at him and get him interested. And then he might become interested just because, like, he's, I don't know, like he wants excitement or something. Like it's stressful. Like I understand the idea of like competition, keeping things fresh and stuff, but like I don't know, like I understand also the idea that a desirable man is desirable, but I don't want other women to touch him or fuck him if he's my partner, and I don't want him to want to. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And see, while you're all stressed out and worried about that situation, you're probably not as focused on being unfaithful to him.
Well, that's not a very nice way to get that effect because I'm an
Doesn't
asshole.
it's not about being nice. It's not you picked the right word. It's not about being nice. It's not about being nice. It's about um having something that works, that's functional, that doesn't fall apart, that meets
Right.
the needs of both parties. And women tend to need that sort of risk, excitement. Women have to hold the flame. They've got to touch it. They got to, they like a little risk.
And I think, the woman wants to, like, it's a given in my mind that women actually have more opportunity to cheat, right? Or to be promiscuous in general.
Just to have
Like
sex.
that's
Yeah, they can have almost any of them can have sex. There's a guy that will fuck just about any woman. She could be a triple amputee, and guy's like, it's Thursday, might as well,
right. Yeah. And, so I mean, I think the fact that a guy, seems more desirable to a broader variety of women, like that should be an indicator that he possesses something that most men don't have, right? Because now, like, the onus is on, in this case, the woman who can reject the suitor, right?
She's not going to reject a suitor because he's got too many bodies. Where he might reject a woman who's had too many. She's not going to. I mean, because otherwise Drake wouldn't have fans willing to sleep with him. These rock stars and stuff. It's not about that. They have celebrity crushes and celebrity passes and stuff like that they have in relationships because they don't give a shit how many women have this guy's been through. They don't give a fuck. Guys give a fuck. So what's the biological purpose of that, Kevin?
I think the woman would give a fuck if she were to ask. She's less likely to ask. A guy's more likely to.
No, they're not going to ask Drake backstage how many women have you been with before I did make up my mind about sleeping with you. Bullshit. No, not a chance. They're gonna give it up without question. They're not going to be worried about disease or anything. A lot of them, they don't even think about that. Celebrity. The more women that want this guy, the more a woman is individually going to want this guy.
But I mean, I think deep down the desire is that they will please him, or whatever, to such an extent that he will want to be with them, right?
Yeah.
I think women go into that thinking, oh, this is a fling. Like dudes will do that. They're like, this is just a fling, and then move on. Like with the celebrity crush, I think there is like a hidden desire for anybody who's in that position who's going to say, okay, this is going to like amount to a relationship potentially. So I need to like probably give like 120% here, to try and please this person and make them want me.
That can go either way though, right? Like there's a lot of women that are, maybe I misunderstood, but I think there's a lot of women that are all about what can you do for me? What is the man going to do, rather than trying to please a man and keep him. So there's a dynamic there that's not, I mean, if it's ideal to be the guy that the woman wants to please, but that's not always the case because of hypergamy.
Do you think that a woman has to have that pattern in her life to indicate that that's what she's all about?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Hypergamy.
No, it's not even a conscious thing. It's a biological drive.
But there has to be evidence of that.
You don't think there's evidence of hypergamy?
And not for every woman.
No, then we're speaking in generalities.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, generally, I mean, I think, and there's a false correlation that goes on between the fact that this person is rich and famous, which, translates to successful, which, then translates to like alpha status or whatever you would call it, where that's not always the case, right? Like a lot of entertainers are propped up. There's kind of a false narrative that goes on. Oh, these people are successful on their own. In reality, big entertainers like that, they can't operate and be successful as individuals. They need a whole team of people who promote them and do public relations and all kinds of things like this to make them appear as if they are in that like hierarchy status, right?
Yeah.
But all,
of course,
show.
All right, women wear makeup. It's the same thing. And if you're an average everyday guy, you're not even gonna be appealing. You're not even gonna be visible to most women. If everything that you do that's exceptional makes someone appreciate you, and eventually that's contagious. And as soon as a few women start to look at you, which means that there's a few standards that most guys have to at least achieve for a woman to even notice them. But after they reach that and a few women notice them, then women around those women want to know, what are you looking at? What's so interesting? And then it just becomes a thing, right? It's just the way the sisterhood works, like in a business, like in your workplace.
Fuck the sisterhood. fuck
The sisterhood. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
not a part of that.
I know you're not. I know we're speaking in generalities and
I
how
know.
modern women are. So this is not for traditional women. This is about the boss babes and I mean all the stuff that's really currently out there that we have to be on the lookout for. Because yeah, no, I don't. There's probably dudes that are happy getting ruled by their women, but I doubt their women are really satisfying their hypergamy with those guys.
No, I mean you're talking about like role reversal, like male submissives and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, the guys that are that pedestalize women and have that mommy complex where they need someone to run their life and dress them, pick out their clothes, all just basically reshape them into a man, right? A woman is not going to respect a man that hasn't already identified how to be a man or to be masculine, because I know I forget sometimes these terms are, but to be the what she's looking for, you know what I'm saying? Like most women want the man to be a little more dominant. And it's pretty obvious in society I mean, women have rape fantasies, for Christ's sake. Okay, there's something missing in society. And I'm not saying that the women want to get raped. I'm saying that subconsciously they're looking for dominant men to dominate them. It doesn't have to be physically, but probably should be.
If we're making generalizations, I mean, I don't know about how many women actually have like SA fantasies or whatever, or I mean, I think that tends to correlate more with like people who have been traumatized by abuse.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is it becoming more prevalent in society, even if as sort of a red flag on a social level that's going on. And, women, and you can see in culture, women are getting tired of the more femboy, like the tight jean wearing guy with the gel in his hair that's worried about his nails and all that. Like that's starting to go away. And the male feminist is starting to, their society is seeking more masculine roles for men to play, and women are just having to realize that in order for men to play those roles, they've got to relax a bit on their demands and their ideas of equality.
I don't know if I agree though. Like, you look at like there's interesting characters like this Post Malone or whatever. Like that guy is like very effeminate, wears a beard, and like seems to be extremely attractive for some reason. He looks like a freaking
celebrity.
But yeah,
celebrity.
Yeah.
If you take the celebrity away from that guy, take away even the notice of his natural talent and all those tattoos. That guy walks into a gas station totally unknown. Somebody's waiting on him to shoplift, and women aren't running up to. Let's see, that's celebrity, and that's proof of the earlier claim that celebrity makes it all happen. They'll accept any sort of standard.
If I ever met like, I don't know, like I've never been one to have like the whole star
Barry Manilow. That's what you're thinking
about. I think I've always thought about like people like rock stars and all that as like kind of like if they do, like sleep with all those groupies and stuff, like I would probably be totally grossed out by that, even if I went and was able to like meet them and say hi. Like I don't think there's any part of me, not even a shred, that would say, I wish I could get this guy alone so I could like suck him off or something. No fucking way.
So not even like the lead singer of Def Leppard, nothing. Not even just a
no.
Okay.
No.
Even just a hand job.
No. No.
Well, you would be quickly replaced by 10 to 20 much more
fine.
willing participants.
Yeah,
and that's all that guy cares about.
Like if you had it in your head that somehow you would be the last groupie, like forget all those other chicks, I'm going to blow his mind and I'm going to be, I'm going to make myself the one, right? If you got that idea in your head, I mean, you don't think you would go for it?
I mean, the problem is like I've never been someone that could just pick up and have sex with someone just for the sake of it, or if I find them physically attractive. Like I've never been a person that could just go on physicality. And I would have to make sure that my ideas about that person actually squared with reality before I could be attracted to them in the real world. Even if I had ideas about them that I thought made them attractive, I would have to confirm that those ideas were true before I like went there. You know what I mean? So no, I don't think I would.
Well, okay, so you don't suffer from limerence. I think a lot of people do suffer from limerence and like.
I mean,
celebrity.
I have had a celebrity crush in the past. I have had symptoms and indicators of limerence, but it has been like in really specific situations that had more to do with like not the person, but just probably just my own desire to be desired, you know?
This seems to be a lot more prevalent, I think, among men as they mature, right? Like all young people go through a phase where they've got the poster of their favorite, you know, whatever the sexy celebrity of the day is, and they're thinking, oh, you know, we're gonna, you know, but they grow out of that. But men kind of tend to hold on to that. I think it's like that poster of Cindy Crawford or whoever you had, like that sticks with you. And once you don't get like the fulfillment of that fantasy, it almost seems like it becomes darker. Like the male will be like, oh well, I didn't get Cindy Crawford, so now I'm gonna treat you know, these other women
like shit or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna take out my anger about my disappointment on them, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's almost like a reaction to the feeling of, oh, it's not fair. I'm not, you know, I didn't get my way, so I'm taking it out on.
Yeah. It's a reaction to past trauma. It's a learned behavior, and they're hyper aware for, I guess, the idea of red flags or something that, you know, would cue them off ahead of time.
Are you talking about the men or the women?
The men, both. But mostly the men are really the only ones I could say anything for certain about.
Mm-hmm. You know, I will say one thing about like the whole, you know, role reversal thing. Like I found myself in situations where I was with someone, like a long-term boyfriend, and, you know, we started things out feeling very much, you know, friendly, companion-y, equally sort of, you know, together. And then it seems like little by little, and I don't think I'm a very dominant person, but like they stopped making decisions for things. And because they weren't making decisions, I get kind of restless and anxious about things not being decided upon. So I was the one that started making decisions, and they would just defer the decision making to me, you know. And it came even to the point of like we go to a restaurant and we're sitting there talking before the food comes, and I ask him what he wants, and he tells me, and I decide what I want, and I ask him, do you want me to order for you? And he says yes, and I order for him in the restaurant, you know. I always do the talking for the relationship, you know, like if we're going somewhere, we have a problem with something, we have a service person come to the house, I'm the mouth, you know, I'm the person that does all the talking and communicating. I don't know if that's dominance or not. Is that dominance?
Well, maybe you're just, that's your utility in the situation. Like that's your skill. Maybe you have the advantage there, and he recognizes that.
I also think maybe his perception might be that it's his dominance of you or a testing of, because like he would expect you maybe to know what he wants. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the way I would skew that. Like I get upset if I've been with a partner for, you know, a number of years, and they're like, what do you want for your birthday? And it's like, okay, I expect you to know, right? Because we're intimate. you should know what I'm desiring.
Mhm.
Like I share those things with you, and so that's kind of like the reciprocal end of it, I think. Just like, I mean, women, tend to expect a man to, remember the anniversary and do something, that's going to be kind of capturing the moment, right? So
Right.
it's kind of like, I think, the flip of that.
I don't know. I haven't. I think I've celebrated my anniversary. I have 3 anniversaries. We used to celebrate all 3, but there was the time we met, the time I became an official girlfriend, and then when, we got married. But I haven't celebrated any of those for, I think we celebrated maybe once or twice in the last 10 years. No cards, no gifts. Just maybe going out to dinner, and that's it.
Have you ever felt disappointed by that, or is that
No, because I hate gift giving and gift receiving. So no.
okay? I mean, I think that's kind of anomalous, though. You might be a little unusual then. I mean, as
Yeah,
far
I
as women
know.
go.
I'm pretty non-materialistic, and I have a pretty bad relationship with objects. Actually, just not because I lose them or they break or anything like that, but because like I've had a lot of my life spent with my stuff being taken away, thrown away, sold, and that kind of stuff. So I became completely unattached to things. You know what I mean? And so things no longer matter to me unless it's something that I specifically pick from myself and I keep close to me. But other than that, like I have very few like possessions. I've lived in the place where I live since 2009, and almost everything that I own is still in boxes from when we moved in down in the garage. So, and it's just books. Books, some fabric, and some old stuff from like Ren Fair that I kept from when I like worked there and stuff. And that's about it. Some craft supplies.
I find that very interesting. Like when I moved into well, I moved into my apartment. I was with my previous ex, and we weren't even living together, but she was, coming to stay frequently. She
Mhm.
actually made a point to unpack my stuff and decorate the place for me, because I
Mhm.
was neglecting that. So, I mean, that seems to
Mhm.
be kind of the common feminine type of response to something like that. So,
Hmm.
I I don't. Do you agree with that, or do you think that's just overgeneralizing?
I mean, I don't know. Like I think that it's probably like part of my leftover like poverty mentality of my bringing up, the way that like I don't, it's that same an attachment to things. Like there's all the so-called art, and it's just like a few photographs and a couple of movie posters that's on our walls is stuff that my husband put up. I have not put up a single thing. And there's no decor in here that's mine. Like anything that I bought a tiny little table for like the bathroom counter for a little thing of Q-tips to go on top of. I bought that, and I picked out the tile for our bathroom. That's the only decorating I've done.
But in your case, that's not something that's super important to you, right? Like it's not something that you feel like he's exerting dominance
Neglecting.
over you.
No. I mean, I would live in a shipping container. I don't like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I've never had like a homey feeling home. So I'm not used to that. And so I don't make that where my home is, I guess. My home is like what's inside my skin, essentially, and like a few of my animals. And that's basically it. That's my home.
I think that's a great mentality myself. Um, just not something that I experience commonly. Um, so have you either of you ever explored this idea of like open relationships or ethical non-monogamy or anything like that?
You go first, Will.
I heard open relationship. What's the other thing?
Ethical, not non-monogamy. Could be swinging, or I don't know, threesomes or something like that.
Well, I don't know about you, like, but when you were in a band or whatever, did the other guys in the band and you ever just kind of like trade off girls like periodically, break up with one, and next thing you know, they'd be with another guy and someone that they dated it was now hanging on you? Never happened?
No, I not for me. I mean, I guess the weirdest thing is getting hit on by a former bandmate of mine, ex, right? Because we remained friends, and then so so there was kind of that, and then but I still approached the other guy like, "Hey, is this cool with you? I don't know how I should, handle this." And so we kind of, had an agreement between us as men, but there was no point where it was like, "Hey, I'm gonna, hand this chick off to you," or something like that, or where it wasn't normalized. Um, like it was very much like, "This is my girl," look but don't touch, and all that good stuff.
Right. Well, it's not like there's somebody walks up and asks somebody else, "Hey, you done with that?" No, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying that it just sort of happened that way, and nobody really, you didn't get mad about it or whatever. You were just like, yeah, whatever.
No, I mean, I had the opposite. I had a guy, not from my band, but from another band, who groped my woman in front of me and acted as if it was no big deal. And I mean, that sparked off like huge controversy. I was pissed, and I wanted to kind of handle it at the scene level. Like, this dude's a perv, put him out there. And my ex, the woman who was involved, was like, "No, don't do that. Just let it go." I mean, I was really heated about it, and it was just, it was an ass grab, but I was really ready to go to war over that.
Yeah, I can't say I've been involved in any of the scenarios that you described, I guess.
But I mean, like, I've entertained the idea with my partners of like having another person in bed as long as we were both involved. It never happened, but we talked about it, we discussed it, like it was on the table as a possibility.
It's not polite to kiss and tell.
Well, like, what? Wait. We're all kissing and telling, in that sense. Like, if you're talking about your current partner, your former partner, I mean, that's a kiss and tell either way. So, I mean, I'm trying to be kind of vague, not go into the specifics of it, but
Well, go ahead then.
Nice collection of avatars, by the way, Will.
Thanks.
you always got something new over there, Will.
Oh, not
I
always.
I guess I mean, I'll put it on the table. When I was talking about, so that interview, that second podcast was actually the first and last date between me and that person. And we're still on friendly terms, but my whole dilemma was whether or not I could be in a relationship with somebody who was polyamorous and it was openly talking about seeking other partners. And ultimately, I mean, I really couldn't pursue it, especially after doing an
It was
interview.
it was
It's very
very
awkward.
progressive an idea, right? It's a very forward thinking notion, correct?
Well, I think so, because I consider jealousy a very petty kind of, human. Like, it seems like something that is unnecessary for me, but yet I still experience it. I don't know why I experience it. I can't make it stop. But I don't understand why I would be jealous if I have an understanding with that person that that's what's going on, right? But something in my brain still gets triggered to to sharing a partner with somebody romantically.
Doesn't that go down to a scarcity concern?
No, I really think it's just it's some kind of.
If you've got 6,000 jelly beans, are you jealous if someone takes one?
Well, I mean, if they're gonna stick their dick in my jelly beans, then yeah.
No, I mean, I don't want them to give it back to you. You know, that's their jelly bean after that. After they touch it with their human hands or whatever, or rub their dick all over your jelly bean, you don't want it back, right? But you got 5,999 more jelly beans. What does it fucking matter? Now you're just being greedy with the jelly beans.
What if I just wanted that one jelly bean?
Scarcity mindset? I don't know. Trying to
No,
lock
there's
one
plenty of
down
jelly
like you can't get another
jelly
one.
beans. I want that one.
Again, it's that locking one down so like you can't get another one.
Can I interject something in here? I'm wondering if like, you know, could we think of it the same way as, instead of like jelly beans representing people, what about jelly beans representing days? Like if you had your partner for every day of the year and they just wanted to be with someone for one of those days, would you be able to deal with that?
I don't know if I could work with that analogy.
Okay, just curious. I'm not sure I would be able to deal with it.
Yeah, because we're not talking about, like, I'm saying, because if someone else touches them, they can have them. If they sleep with someone else, I don't want them.
Yeah, that's kind of how
right? Because well, as far as a male perspective, or at least I can only give my own perspective. I mean, like, I'm not going to get jealous. I'm not going to do it. If I do that, that means that I'm worried that I will be missing something in my life that I can't generate for myself, you know? And that would be a moment where I would stop and think, like, you know, what do I need? What is the benefit? What am I really upset over? Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, and I mean, it boils down to fear of loss, right? It's not. I mean, in that instance, like if it's just that one day, okay, I'd probably, survive that, get over it. I think that the fear that is ingrained in us is that one day may turn into a permanent loss. You'd say, they're more satisfied by that one day,
right?
And then, so it's always like a fear of inadequacy on the part of the male.
Well, we just don't want them. We just don't want them after someone else's. Okay. Like once you've exposed any side of your, personal, whatever, where you start to develop that connection and they sleep with someone else. I mean, you don't want them back normally. You're like, nah, because I didn't treat you like a typical jelly bean, right? Like, so I don't really want you back. You're gone, jelly bean. I'm sorry, I keep using the jelly bean thing. Maybe I'm just hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's more like an M&M, like they've sucked the candy coating and I'm just soggy chocolate.
Yes, perfect, exactly. Your candy shell is gone and you've melted all over someone else's hands. So I really don't want to fucking eat you. It's like we mark territory as men. We're like, you're with me. And if you're with someone else, then you're not with me. And some guys will be like begging them to stay after they cheat or whatever. But I think that's the wrong thing to do. I think if they cheat, that's one of your basic parts of your code. If a woman will do that, then there's no chance in the future that really you'd be able to, settle down with her, because you're going to think about that shit. So just cut them loose, let them go.
It's the same kind of like if I was with someone and some other woman was trying to get their attention and they managed to get their attention and they got their attention to the point where my partner wanted to or did sleep with them, I would just be like, well, you've made your choice, I hope you're happy.
Right. It's your standards. You got a code.
isn't it a kind of a sign of respect though that they would ask you beforehand? So it's not cheating. They're like, hey,
No,
I'm interested in
no.
this
I mean,
person.
just let them break up with you. Just break up with you. That would be respectful. Just to tell you about it beforehand. Hey, guess what? I'm gonna fuck somebody else. Just wanted you to know. Fuck you. Just get your shit. Get the fuck out. You know, that's just don't even. You know, you just pack your shit and leave. Break up with me by text. I don't give a shit. But just go.
But it doesn't necessarily have to go that way, right? Like it may be the case that they're like, hey, I want to have this experience, this one time, and I want you to be okay with it, and I want to be able to come back.
Oh, and that's okay then if you do the same, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to go both ways.
What was the point of even calling that a relationship then?
I was gonna
You
say,
just
what's the
fuck
point of being
buddies.
together if you're just gonna?
You're fuck buddies. That's what you're doing. You're fuck buddies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, you first.
No. You.
I mean, relating back to what we were talking about, I lost my train of thought now. Last night, as far as I was right there, and no, I lost it. No, go with yours. I'll get it back.
If I can remember it, let's see. Oh, yeah, I think it would be weird for, my partner to say, oh, that girl, your friend is pretty cute. Like, I'd like to have sex with her. And then like at that point forward, like I'm going to be thinking, is he thinking about her? Is he like masturbating, thinking about her? Is he talking to her somehow on the side? Is he thinking about her when he's having sex with me? Like it'll fuck with my head. Like just that one thing, like regardless of if he ever even sleeps with her, like that alone would really mess with me.
So I recovered my thought that people can be sexually attracted to another person and not romantically, like emotionally invested, right? So maybe that's the case. They're like, hey, I just want to sleep with this person. I have no interest in actually having a relationship with them, right? I mean, if that were the case, is it really threatening to you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if I'd really want them to be having like sort of empty sex with them, like
What if they want to sleep with your best friend?
no way. No.
Oh, I was talking to Kev.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what if your girlfriend wants to sleep with your best friend, Kevin? What do you do?
I believe I've been in that position before, and it was a hard no. In that case, because I was actually a bit, grossed out by my best friend. Like the thought of, it wouldn't be like if I thought my best friend was attractive, I'd be like, okay, but I'd be like, really? That guy? That's kind of my reaction. Now, if my best friend was like, I was like, oh yeah, I could see why you'd want that. It might have been a different story, but that wasn't the case at the time. Yeah, I don't know. Like if I could see the person, if I myself could also see the person as attractive and kind of empathize with that situation, and I trusted my friend enough to be honest with me and not continue a relationship, like that's really, I really think it's on the friend at that point, to whether you trust your in this case my male friend to just be honest with me of whether or not they continue a relationship with my partner or not, or if it's just a one-time thing.
Don't hate me, Kevin, but I feel like you're gonna have a really bumpy life.
Oh, I'm in the middle of lots of humps here, but
Are you afraid to be selfish?
I'm trying to be more selfish. Yeah, it is a fear of mine. I've been accused of being a narcissist. I don't want to be an actual narcissist, so I try to
Let me
avoid.
ask you a couple questions. Can you imagine the times when our species were hunter gatherers? Can you kind of think about that time period?
Oh yeah, I do
What
frequently.
characteristics in the human male at that time period? Um, what sort of mentality did that man have to survive?
Oh yeah, you had to be extremely selfish. I mean, self-preservation was key, and then taking all the resources that you could, and collecting them in your whatever your domicile, right? That would have been key to survival.
Mm-hmm.
And people equal resources in that
Right.
sense.
Oh, okay. But now you're good where we're at. So you got your individual. He can accumulate. He learns out of necessity over years of being selfish how to accumulate, when to accumulate, how to be genuinely wealthy, even as a hunter gatherer, right? Just because of his proficiency. Then he's more capable and likely, since a lot of what he has, if he doesn't share, goes bad, to share with others, which then creates almost a loyalty or friendship or connection or dependence or whatever, and at least an appreciation and respect for this hunter's or gatherer's prolific, work ethic or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then the selfish man is able to be the generous man.
But I mean, I don't think that maps well onto like a modern context, because what we know now is that in reality, like if we're talking about mates, women are not scarce. Women outnumber men by, I think, 3 to 1. So that's actually a myth, right? There is no scarcity for mates or partners out there. And
Stop. That's not true. I mean, yes, as far as the partners that you're considering, most women don't see as partners, right? That's what I was saying. These are your average guys. The numbers don't matter. Yeah, it's 3 to 1. All of them are looking at men in a certain category, ranking, social status in the tribe. They don't even see it's hypergamy. They rarely, and this is in generalities, Halsey, they rarely notice the average man, the guy with the plumber's butt, fixing their underneath their sink or whatever, right? They don't notice the average Joe, Most average guys are not even on the radar. They're like NPCs, right? They're not even in the sexual marketplace. They're just not even, no. They're the thrift store to women. And that's the mass, the majority of men fall into that category.
I want to ask Halsey, do you agree with that, or do you have a statement about that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard for me to probably be a good person to ask about that. My history of people that I've been with has been, very varied as far as what people do, what people look like, and I've actually never, but again, I'm like kind of a not normal person.
It's not even about, we're speaking in generalities. We've already determined that Halsey is not your typical, and we're not even talking about the same creature most of the time, right?
Maybe not.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, if you just asked women, you did a poll about let's say the top 5 things that women are seeking in a man, or let's say whatever their standards are. They have things that men don't have, like amount of money. Men don't give a fuck about how much money a woman has. We don't give a shit. It doesn't even pop into their education. We don't give a fuck about that. mean, we don't want them to be
some men
dumbasses,
might,
but
you know,
just
to
so
be
in
sure.
generalities, as I said, what 5 times now, generalities. This is what I'm talking about. If you ask women what they want, first off, they want a guy that's taller than them, mostly in the 6 foot range if they can find him. All right, for whatever reason, that's extremely important. And then second off, they would prefer you make 6 figures. They would prefer it, highly prefer it. Some would say that's a minimum, which I think that's crazy. But again, I don't think that men look at women and think about their earning ability unless they're pimps, right?
Right. Well, I don't know. Like I remember this one time I was in a relationship with this guy, and he was super like cheap as far as like just he didn't want he would complain about any money that we spent, right? And I had a job and I was spending just as much money as him. And I remember this time when we were like going to go out to eat or something, and he was telling me to take money out, and I literally had like $20 the single $20 that I could spare from my bank account before I would be like overdrawing and stuff. And after I told him that and kind of insisted that I couldn't do it, I couldn't be the one, he went and took money out of his account, and he had like over $5,000 in his account. And I was like, why are you telling me to get like my last $20 out when you've got $5,000 in your account?
He was pimping you.
Well, he was like, well, I'm saving it for a car.
He's pimping you. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So your life is more important. Your priorities, your money is more important than mine. Cool. All right, good.
Right, Kevin. That's the equivalent of pimping. He's earning a new car off of her money, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's the greatest tactic to take. But is it the case that like if he's the breadwinner, he's the provider, and he's saying, hey, this thing I'm investing in is going to benefit both of us, so I'm just asking for this contribution from you, right?
It wasn't quite like that because we were not living together. We were not like in a serious, situation. We had just, been dating for like just a few months at that point. And I was still just going over and visiting his house. We didn't stay at each other's houses or anything. I did a little bit at his, but not much. But I never, I didn't even know how much money he made until like probably 6 months into the relationship. No, it didn't even faze me to think about it.
So I can remember being in a situation when I was younger. My ex and I had pulled together resources to get a vehicle. We were supposed to buy a used car. I let her go with a family member to go and get a used car. We had set a limit on how much we were going to spend on that vehicle, and she and the family member decided, without me being present, that they were going to instead finance a new vehicle, which put us into further debt. And so when they came back with all of our money being spent, I was not consulted about this investment, right? But we had shared the resources. I felt at that point I had a right to complain about it, but at the same time, we were invested in a partnership to where I felt like, okay, she, even though I felt like she went behind my back, I also felt like I should have been able to trust her to make that decision. Right. And so I didn't fault her for it in the long run. But yeah, at the time I was really pissed off about it. It's like, you don't spend my money without consulting me. You know what I mean? Like, that was my mentality.
Yeah, especially considering what a shitty deal new cars generally are, instant depreciation. You have to spend a lot more on insurance. It's a money sink for a little while. High payments. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, but for me, it was entirely a principle matter.
I totally get it. That was not a good decision to make, without it being mutual, in my opinion. If it was mutual money, it should have been made mutually.
But yeah, it's like if I'm earning like that, this scenario you described, I'd be like, hey, you hold on to your $20, like that's fine. That would be the way I am. But I think some men do get off on. It's not just William described it as pimping. It is like an aspect of having control, but I think it's also an aspect of keeping a woman in a situation where they are like desperate and in need of the man to provide for them.
Kind of trapped a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that person was like not a good person. They turned out to be very much not a good person. They were mentally abusive. They ended up being physically abusive. He actually tried to strangle me because he would get these like catalogs for this like cheese bag, like adult like company, lube and toys and all this, blow up dolls and stuff like that. This was like, when those types of things where people would still get these things mailed to their house. And he would get, this catalog like once a month. So he had a collection, and they had the same thing. Every single one of them maybe had like one or two different things, and then that's it, right? And the cover was different, but everything else was the same. And he had like so many of these dumb catalogs, and I got sick of looking at them. And I told him, I'm like, look, I want to throw these away. Like, you have so many of these. I just want to throw them away. And I ripped one of them. And he he was bigger than me and bulkier than me. And he knocked me over and knocked me down on the ground and like just sat all of his weight right on my chest, pinned my arms at the, like above the elbow, and just put all of his weight on his hands and started strangling me. And it took every ounce of strength that I had just to sort of disturb him enough for him to stop doing it. I wasn't able to buck him off of me. I was not able to do that,
Yo, Shy.
Welcome in, Simon.
What's going on? I don't know if I can mention the other guy's name because I don't know if my God would allow me to do that. But yeah, I find it kind of interesting, chat space. But why do women go through like this whole process where they like and want, like, men are probably twice the size of them for purposes beyond our knowledge, but then this sort of stuff happens?
He wasn't twice the size of me. He was just really
Bulky.
very solid. You know what I mean? Like you could run into him and hit him and he wouldn't move. You know what I mean? And he wasn't really tall or anything.
For you though.
No, I mean, I'm 5'3" and he was probably 5'9". He wasn't that big,
Yeah, but it's big enough to.
Well, yeah, and the position that
disable
he was
you.
in, the position that he was in, and the way that he was pinning me with his weight, it made it almost impossible for me to get enough momentum behind any part of my body.
All right, so
you know what I mean? I would have had to like kick him in the head or something from like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it would have been
you'd
really
have
hard.
to do some Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
understand it. But but typically women go for men that seem to be this sort of archetype where it's like, okay, if I need to take on the world, they're going to take on the world for me, up until the point where they're trying to disable you because you have an argument or some stupid shit like that. Do you know what I mean? So why don't women like just go for men maybe that are shorter than them?
I mean, he was also an alcoholic. It's not like it just turned out to be a bad situation. And I was drawn to abusive people, and so.
Was you an alcoholic?
No.
All right. So why you getting involved with an alcoholic if you're not?
This was 20 years ago, and it was.
I know. It's not. We're not talking about today. Nothing to
And I
do with
didn't know
today.
at the time that he was.
Nothing
It
to do
was
with
a
today.
slow
No, this is
discovery.
anecdotal from. This is a storybook, right? So I get that shit. It's no problem. I'm learning from you. But it's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess there's probably another couple out here right now that can learn from what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well,
20 years ago, he was an alcoholic. You didn't know. How did you get involved with him?
I met him through a mutual friend, through like a friend
Uh,
group that he was a part of.
There weren't dating apps in those times, right?
It's just like Ren Fair people. Like they went and I went and he was there with them and I met him that way. Renaissance Fair.
Like
Yeah,
20
so it
years
wasn't.
ago, was that like Plenty of
Yeah.
Fish or something like that?
I mean, he's probably more like 25.
Salute Ape. Sorry. I got to excuse my manners. Salute Ape. Trusty Ape. Thank you very much for having me up. And as I said, like I can't really say that dude's name because I'm Christian, but yeah. Yeah, 20 years ago, that was a long time ago.
Does that
I
mean
know.
that you have a speech impediment, that it's religious based?
I just can't say that name. Like, for
What's
real.
wrong with the name? What do you think that name means?
You know what's going on. You know what's going on. I need to play.
Light bearer. What's
I
wrong
can
with
say
light bearer?
salute to Torch. Salute to Torch. Although
Okay,
like
that'll work.
it don't make sense putting those two words together. You know what it means.
Yeah, Prometheus.
Yeah. So space.
You know,
Getting back.
Luce just means light, right? Luce is the name for Luce.
No. We got something else going on. You don't know
Right.
what's going on. It's cool. It's cool.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean 20 years ago is a long time in terms of like in the way that technology's moved on. Do you know what I'm saying? And if someone was in the same predicament as you're describing right now, 20 years ago, there was no way there was anywhere speaking about it at all. Unless you're on horseback or some shit like that.
Yeah, and it was hard, to be in that position with like knowing that like I knew, several of the same people, and if I were to now tell them about what happened, they would have to like think about that and either believe me or try to confirm it with him. It would be this big mess, so I didn't say anything to anyone and I just broke up with him, and then that was that. Like he showed up drunk a couple times to my house after that, but I just kind of ignored him and was kind of on my way out the door, and so didn't really stop to to talk or anything. But that was the end of that, and never saw him again. So that was good.
All right, and you got out of it though.
Yeah, that was the thing that decided. I mean, there was other things before that I probably should have said, this sucks. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. But I guess sometimes things have to get kind of bad in some situations for you to actually say, all right, enough of this. Yeah.
So what are you doing now?
Some parts of you, sometimes you want to think that it's going to get better, that it might improve.
How long did it take for you to get out of that situation though?
I think I was seeing him for about a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it goes back to Will's point earlier as far as like with women seeking in men also goes back to like the survival instinct. If they look for a man who seems to have like an assertive, like a dominating physical presence, that they will be more likely or more able to defend them if they are in danger, right? But then because we have like these patterns of abuse, some of those men end up actually being the very person who victimized them, right? And so they're seeking those partners, thinking defender, but then they use that physical power on them, right?
Yeah.
Well, and some men actually sort of target women that they recognize have certain traits that will make them easy to control and manipulate. like women that have self-esteem issues or that have tendencies towards depression or anxiety or any of those kinds of issues, like those people tend to be a little bit easier to emotionally affect because they're emotionally sensitive and reactive. So
That's kind of mainstream, though, to be honest.
kind of what?
It's kind of mainstream.
Mainstream
Like, meaning like there's I wouldn't really typically come across a lot of women that don't have a mental health issue.
No, I'm saying there are men that specifically look for that because they know that, you know,
Yeah,
that
but do you
person
understand what I'm saying? They if you're in a area or arena where that's a typical issue, then obviously it's not like men like typically looking for it. They know that exists, so they're gonna prey on it.
So you're saying you think that most women are mentally ill?
and that
Yeah.
most men
Well,
try to
no, after a point, I mean, I'm not talking about girls, I'm talking about women. Like, so, and I have a daughter, and I'm watching her on a bit rate.
Now, is
In
this something
terms,
that comes out of your religious book?
no, that
Oh,
can't
okay.
come out of a religious book. Uh, in fact, it's the complete opposite, which is a good point, to be honest. It can't come out of a religious book. It's just the world we're living in, based on what's gone on in specifically over the last 5 years, that people want to ignore for some strange reason. Like that has a huge it has and have had a huge effect on the typical shift on people's normality, where everyone's trying to act normal but they're not, and they want to call it something, pocket hole it, pigeonhole it, and this, that, whatnot. Oh, all of a sudden is this, or is that, and
What would be the time period or era that you would take us back to a time where we say, okay, this is when society was normal?
It's such a good question.
yeah. Thinking. Think box. Tick tick tick. You need a clock watch on this one. I would say 1859.
So not even the 1950s, but 1859.
I was going to say right around 1900.
Yeah, normal is gone.
So what was going on in that time period that's like you say this is normal? What was the status quo, and or what is different now than in that time that you think is to blame for us not being normal anymore?
Naturalization. The discovery of what was possible, and there weren't. There was a significant number of people. I could count them on my hands who enabled this new future world that we're looking at.
So we're building the Tower of Babel over here since the 1850s, right?
No, the Tower of Babel was built already. I mean,
no, I don't mean literally the same one. I'm just saying where we get to the point where we're advancing so quickly that we're going to destroy our society.
I mean, think about the internet as a unifying source, and think about what the Tower of Babel was built on, a unified way of communicating, right? That's what God disturbed, right? Got rid of that unified way so that nobody could understand each other, so they could go no further.
You see, what happens in society is we build up this this thing that goes on, and we go, oh, there's a new industry, or there's a new road. Like I've dealt with many industries and like situations where we broke houses down. There's a film called The Clockwork Orange, right? Where we filmed this whole thing called The Clockwork Orange on this estate. Have you seen that shit?
I've seen the movie a bunch of times and I've read the book.
It was filmed on Thamesmead Estate in the UK in an area called Woolwich. This estate is horrible. It
makes for a good movie setting though.
Yeah, but it's really horrible. It's still horrible.
Interesting. I didn't even know that it was like for real, like kind of ghetto or whatever.
Yeah, Google it. It's like I would go around to that estate and I would
What's it called again?
engage Thamesmead. I could put it in the back if you want.
Like Thames, like the river,
THA.
and then MEADE.
Yeah, like the River Thames,
Uh-huh.
and then Mead, like in farm district.
Yeah,
Thamesmead
Southeast
Estate.
London area.
Yeah. Right. So my job was to go around there and they like work with pensioners who were 50 plus years old, and they were literally women that came from all types of different industries. And their husbands or previous partners are either demised or passed away or whatever. But this was their life for the rest of their ages. They were, they had spent their whole life paying taxes, like living and giving to the government, and you and everyone in our society, like contributing to the war. You know what I mean? Tax,
Yep.
XYZ, and this was their life. Like for the rest, like all they had was this collective, and they were given this community center, and they would go on trips to their demise.
The government cares, though.
Sorry, sir.
I said, but the government cares, though.
Cares for what, bro?
Oh, the people, yeah, because the government is of the people, so it cares.
If only we could get a good government, a good kind government.
You're talking about a retirement or like what they do with old people in your country. So here would be what, Social Security, and then whatever that covered as far as old folks' homes, some sort of.
This ain't an old folks' home. They're left in their home. The only pleasure they get is going to this community center probably once a week. No one cares.
So they're not disabled then?
No, they're retired professionals.
Do they have like their homes paid for, their apartments paid for and stuff?
No, they still got to pay for it.
Okay. All right.
They're just literally, in there by themselves. They get the only pleasure they have is actually sort of being able to like engage with the rest of the estate, because the estate is large. Like there's hundreds of people on there. So they don't get to sort of walk around and go, hey, and clap someone's hand. So how are you doing? Blah blah blah.
Are they restricted in their movement or something? Like,
so it sounds kind of like you're. It sounds kind of like you're saying they're just another brick in the wall.
It's stalemate. It's stalemate. And the thing is it's just so sad to see. And it's like, although like that's what I was doing, like engaging with them like years and years before, like, where are we, 2024? I was doing this when it was like 2017. I literally walked around there just to see what was going on the other day. Still going on. So obviously this some sort of rotation in terms of like, the guinea pig cartwheel, where we're like, and women in particular don't necessarily understand this, because they see women are very, very competitive, and typically they outlive men.
Take us home, Cody.
Yeah. I'm just talking. I could stop at any
I was encouraging you. I said, take it home, like preach. I'm telling you to preach.
I'm just saying, like, it's sad. Like, unless you get with a partner, like the road ahead is not healthy. That's all it is, bro. And that's
like,
why.
Yeah, I mean, there's like data that proves that loneliness and being alone is really terrible for your health, like especially in like later years, because the lack of stimulation and the lack of affection and everything like really affects a person. Starts to affect you like in a magnified way, I think.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
I'd hate that for my daughter. That's all, so when I talk, sometimes people get me misconstrued, like in terms of like, trying to sort of advocate for women and shit, but I've got my daughters on. I'm like, I ain't gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. And if there ain't women out here advocating for like women in the right way, then it's kind of problematic, because it's like people always want to say, "Oh, women go for the bag, this, that, the other." It's like, yeah, no, that's not it. It's not it at all. The misdirection is what we should be looking at in terms of like what happens after, you know, because you get the bag. Of course, we could be equal if you want in your eye, whatever. But you know, you're typically gonna outlive a man, and then what happens? That's what I'm saying. What's that? The film is called
Driving
yeah.
Miss Daisy. Oh no, that's a different one.
No, it's shot on the Thames Mead estate, which is the information I provided
Do
you.
you work for them? You work for them, don't you? That's the second movie from them that you've recommended, right? But you just don't know the name of this one.
I can't say who I work for, and nor can you, or else you'd put your real name up there, bro. I
No,
can put my real name up there, and I'll probably get away with it because I'm not. I don't have like an agreement with them anymore, and they're pissed
Well,
at that.
you're already pretending to be a wrestler, aren't you?
Yeah, I did that when I was about 8 years old, and my best impression was Bret Hart.
All right, rock on.
That was displayed in my school.
Now, I've
I made
noticed that a lot of
I had a whole new
Christians.
belt and everything.
I know that I've noticed that a lot of Christians like professional wrestling at various points in their lives, and I'm wondering if there's is there a correlation? Is there something there?
Of course, because you can understand the play.
Right, because the good will eventually triumph over the evil. Right?
Yeah,
the heels will be taken down.
And the image is of that of what's portrayed. So like if you even take your last champion Roman Reigns and put his image against you know, Jesus, what are you looking at?
I'd like to see him arm wrestle.
It's not that. It's not about this is the thing. That whole thing is a mental thing. It's not really about who can you know, out maneuver someone. And that's the game. It's like it don't work like that. Because we you know, as men typically we think like that, right? It's like, oh, can I take you down? Women don't think like that.
You're talking like lucha libre kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like watching that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you know, when men operate, they think brutality, but you know, typically women don't think like that. They're thinking like cupcakes, and if I need to, I will. So it's a totally different dynamic. But if you're catering to an audience, you need to understand both, and you can't get that from just having a one-sided mentality, which is
Now, do
why.
you consider that a traditional masculinity that you're speaking from?
Yeah, that's a very traditional masculinity because what it is you know, for example, if you take WWE, what's put in front of you is Triple H, but who's running it?
Right, but like I thought the Christian men, you know, tended to be a little more tender towards their women, treated their women like Christ loved the church, and
Yeah, we do.
Hmm.
That's why I get a lot of shit on the internet. You know that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I don't play that shit. Like I get a lot.
You don't
of
do
crap.
the turn the other cheek thing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a tough one for a man.
The women that are around me don't play like that. Like they know what's going down, because it's not that difficult. You know, people want to act like it's difficult. The message is like, oh, you know, women are this, women are that, and it's like, no, they're not. Women, look, you get a real good woman around you, they'll serve you for 30 years without even talking about it. But the way
Just
they want
happy to be in your presence, huh?
well, it's a give and take situation. As long as you're providing for them, they'll provide for you, and it's not complicated. It's like, you know, and like we'll
Which
go to
country
church.
did you get this woman that you're talking about? Where did you find her?
I found her in multiple countries. My ex-wife was from Africa. And prior to that, like, you know, I'm not saying I don't have other children. My first daughter's from Italy. And my son's from Mauritius. And they're all still with me right now. I don't talk about it too much. Like I talk
All
about
the
my
women?
yeah, they're all there. Yeah.
Except for the one. Wait a minute.
You trying to catch up?
But you said one that I mean, a good one will last you 30 years. So
Yeah.
you're just trying to time it right to the point where you
No, no, no.
expire.
That can happen simultaneously. It don't mean it has to be
Yeah,
one
yeah.
at a time. Right.
Now, do you use them to increase your holdings?
No, I look, listen. When I say hold you down, it don't mean it needs to be sexual. This is the
That's not.
thing.
I didn't mention sex. I meant like financially, or
Yeah. No,
like they serve you to give you more time and freedom because you're not
if
doing the things
if
that they're doing.
yeah, so if a woman has been able to bear you a child, that's a real big deal in real life. I know we flutter about it in text or on
Why
TV
is that?
because they're giving their body up for you at risk of losing their life.
Okay, but what is the benefit to the parent of the child? What is the benefit?
The benefit is they get somebody who can support them for the rest of their life.
Do you think that's what children do?
No, not children.
No, I'm asking as the parent, what benefit is it to the parent to have the child? Like as the single person or the couple, what benefit is it to either of the parties to have the child?
If if you're in a good space, then it makes logical sense to partner with somebody that can support you for the rest of your life because you are no longer a child. When you're growing up, right, you're supported by your parents. So what happens is you leave that household and you enter a new realm. That's scary for a lot of people. So, you know, the fact that you can transition from one space to another space of support, a support network in one shape or form, it
You
may be
think that
one
children are
person.
going to take care of you when you get old?
Right. I'm going from one to another. So I'm going from the person and then to the child after the
Right,
transition.
right. Like
Yeah. So
after a good many years, when it's your turn, they're going to keep you afloat because whatever you think their loyalty will be.
you're ahead of me, okay, in your head. I can hear you. You're ahead of me, okay? What I'm saying is what happens is most of the time is how we grow up is step by step. We are brought up by our parents, okay? What happens traditionally is, and even untraditionally, if you want to like it or not, and this is why most people get caught in the wire, what they call the matrix. You want to move from the household that you're brought up in, from like, you know, 0 to 18, to get to a situation where someone else supports you. Now, you know, that should be your life partner traditionally. That's not really happening right now for a lot of people. But what tends to happen is you'll meet someone and then you'll meet someone and then you figure it out. So it's just like you're supposed to figure it out within about 2-3 years. That don't happen for a lot of people, but for some it does. Then they get married, and then that's supposed to be your support network for the next 30 years. This is just the life map, okay? But then after that they have children, you know, the children that you bared, and then you're supposed to be the grandparent and you're supposed to support that network, and then the cycle's supposed to go on. You know, that's generational wealth. That's what they call it. But that's not what's traditionally happening. Like this whole the thing's been broken up because, you know, there's other stuff going on in the world where people don't want that to actually happen because, you know, some families have come up in the game and started competing with the one percenters and they don't really like it. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to get to your question, but I sort of went off on another tangent. Will.
We're just talking about the social network that is created by the family, where you take care of them when they're children, and then later on, if you're lucky,
Yeah,
they'll take care of you
yeah,
when
yeah,
they're right.
yeah.
So, is it expensive to raise children?
Of course, it's like 25K per child on average.
Okay, so if that money was, instead of being put into children, was placed into a savings account,
You still
how
can't do
many
it.
by the time they're 18 years old,
You
that
can't.
wouldn't be a hold on. Even if you got that far, you would have some ability to invest that money, or come up with some sort of arrangement that could benefit you when you're old, especially if you plan it out well.
Of course. I mean, but if everybody on Earth from the day they were born did a Richard Branson, this is how Richard Branson, what he did and how he became rich was he saved his pocket money that was given to him from his parents. That's how he became rich. When every other child was spending it on a day-to-day basis. So like if everybody on Earth had a child and saved the money that they actually spent on children on a day-to-day basis or annual basis, they'll be rich. That's why people pay attention to parents a lot, because unwillingly they do not really understand what the hell they're doing. That because it takes a lot, you know. I've conversations with a lot of people in my community every day about what they're doing and why they struggle. You can see their faces and what they do, like just to get through the day. It's a real struggle. They have no idea what they're doing, and most of the time, they only recognize what they're doing after that child has left the house because they're like, "I'm free." Why would someone say they're free of something that they gave birth to if it wasn't a torture in the first place? So who's
Pos-
benefiting from this really?
I mean, isn't it possible that over the time of the child, coming into adulthood or whatever, that the parents just start to feel so worn out and burnt out on the whole situation, regardless of how much they love the person?
Of course, but why?
I mean,
How
it
how
is a
why
burden in a
why?
way.
Well, the equilibrium between love and being burnt out at the same time doesn't enable you to love, right? How can you love somebody and then like be burnt? Be in a situation you're being burnt out at the same time. That all that does is stress test your situation,
It's true.
which doesn't enable you to actually see things for real.
I don't know if it's necessarily a matter of being burnout with the person, right? You're not burnout with your partner, but you're burnout with the situation, right? And whatever, like the romantic spark that was there, like holding the unit together, right? It becomes overburdened by all these other financial responsibilities and things like that kind of
Yeah.
take away from, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of more what I was talking about. It's not the child. It's the whole obligation, the long term, and it doesn't end when they're 18. That's just when you can like legally get them out of the house.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like most, even what's proven during the C-19 era was most people returned home based on the fact that they weren't parented appropriately to have the skills that enable them to actually live in a society, although they were educated, degreed up, and everything. They had to come back home.
I mean,
So
do you think it
yeah.
was because of that, or also it could have been like people losing their jobs, and then cost of living changing, and people no longer having like enough padding basically to afford a place and a car and all that stuff at the same time, so they have to like go back to mom and dad's. I mean, don't you think, I don't know if it's a situation of lacking preparation, or if just the situation of society is making it really hard.
Society has never been easier. in terms of access to things. Like we have never been in a state of you can't just do things. Like we have microwaves for crying out loud.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
know,
know. I'm just talking about like readily available cash. I guess spending money.
yeah, but people don't know what that means. Still, the whole understanding about currency is an anomaly, and it's something that's not taught. It's not an education premise. It's not in your curriculum. So that's always going to be a problem unless someone turns around and creates a school that actually creates an understanding around like micro and eco economics. Like who's going to do that? It doesn't benefit them because
Right.
if you understand money, it's not going to benefit you. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah,
like
it's not gonna benefit the people that would rather cash in on you instead of let you benefit.
yeah, I mean, if I started talking to you about gold, are you actually going to listen to me or not? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like people don't really understand this stuff. Like, like most people will turn around and go, "Yo, send me a cash app or whatever," and I'll be like, "Okay, cool." But then they're going, "Oh yeah, YouTube takes 30%." I'm like, "Well, why are you asking me to send you a cash app? That's not logical." You know what I mean? It's like, what are you trying to do here? So if you understand money, then you understand stuff, but no one wants to actually talk about it, you know. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, I'm gonna go.
yeah.
Yo, 8.
Yep.
I don't know what band you're in right now. You want to tell me about that? I got my guitar as well. Are you doing
Nice.
acoustic or is that
Yeah, no,
electric?
I do a little bit of all of it. This one's electric. This is the photo here is from my band Calicide.
Mm-hmm.
We're on hiatus right now. Yeah, I actually have a band called the Trusty Apes. So that's been my primary focus.
Oh,
But right now
don't.
I'm venturing in some new
Now
stuff.
you get
How
me
how
excited. Stop. You got a drummer? You have a drummer, or is it
I
what?
I do. I've got two of them.
Wow, yo, that's hard to pull together, man. Yo, hit me up on the email. I need to hit. Where you traveling? What you got a manager?
I actually have never had a manager. I had an ex girlfriend of mine used to do my booking for me, but she was kind of just a excited fan. But
Oh god.
What you want to put your email in the private chat? I'll put you down there.
Yeah. Look, bro. You know I'm from the music industry, right? I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that. No.
I was signed to BMG like for like 10 years.
Nifty.
Oh wow, nice. Do you have a project yourself?
Not now, but I mean I still know people. But I do I know the game. Do you get what I mean? Like I used to run events. I used to do open mic nights, um, and all that. So I used to put up compilations together. Like all my tracks are still on Spotify and all the rest of it. Like if you actually literally Google Simon Hector, let me take this Cody Rhodes stuff off. Um, I'd
That's so
say
cool.
Is Cody your arch nemesis?
I like Cody because um, he's the epitome of the industry. Like he switched it around. So um, and yeah, I can't my stories are kind of like the same. It was just like you know I was managed by like the best of the best, but at the same time I didn't really agree with them. It's like a David Chappelle sort of situation. So like I only came to YouTube based on the fact that I got divorced, so I had some time and I had to get my daughter. My daughter was abducted, and I had to find her, and like she's home now. So it's just like this is like the big, there's a big, a story's a story. I didn't like it. I still don't like it. I wish I was in a different situation, but we're peaceful now to an extent, and we're just trying to get normal and get back to where we were. But yeah, yeah, just Google Simon Hector, you'll see what it's about. But thank you for having me up and having a voice. I appreciate you. Um, enjoy the rest of your Easter holiday. Very nice to meet you, Space Cadet.
You too. Nice to talk
And
to you.
take care of yourselves. All right,
Thank
peace.
you. You too.
Thanks for coming, Simon. Yeah, I will check you out, brother.
Thank you, bro.
I got your email now.
Thank you. Take care.
Goodbye.
That was a fun little turnaround there. So
Yeah.
I didn't Simon was a Christian either, so I mean we'll have to have that conversation later at some point. but yeah, I thought he might have something to say on the topics at hand there. So yeah, I'll have to chat more about that. Check out Simon Hecker's channel if you haven't. He's doing some interesting content, open rooms over there as well. Trying to throw a link out here.
I think I'm subscribed to him because I think I saw him like last week or something and was thinking, yeah, this guy's kind of interesting, and went and skimmed through a little bit. I usually subscribe to a lot of, I've got like 700 subscriptions or something on my YouTube. And I just weed stuff out as I discover later on that I'm not into it after all. But I tend to subscribe to a lot of channels just because if I don't, I'll forget that I ever saw it, and then I won't know any more about it. You know what I mean? So I think I subscribe to him.
Yeah. I've got I think it's got to be like in the thousands of subscriptions right now on this.
Oh wow!
From this channel, but like I don't often unsubscribe. Somebody's got to turn me off pretty bad, but I'll just turn the bell off if if I get tired of it.
No,
so I don't have to.
Right.
Yeah. But I like to keep it diverse. So I'm subscribed to all kinds of channels, whether it be liberal, conservative politics, religious, non-religious, like just a little bit of everything, and just try to keep the mix going.
Yeah. I have a lot of different ones too. Lots of music stuff right now, though, seems to be kind of overtaking my algorithm, which is perfectly fine with me. So.
Yeah, I keep that on my other little music channel, like all my music subscriptions. I've tried to like unsubscribe from most musical content over here just to kind of keep it relevant to like the stuff that I like to review and things like that. And I've been getting so much of my music lately through Spotify since I got on that. So it's actually
cool.
really good. I stand by it. I think it's a really good platform.
Does it cost anything?
I get it free. No, well, I got onto a friend's family plan, so I don't know how much it costs them, but yeah, I won't name drop. But thank you to the person who put me on their family plan.
That's
great.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, they're not a YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was working on a silly project earlier. We were collecting sound bites from different hangouts from people just saying like wacky stuff, And there's this conversation that Tog had with Pine Creek. You know who Pine Creek is?
Yeah, I didn't know Tog had talked to him though.
He called in one day and they had like a conversation, and I made sure that I captured it, and there was some amusing stuff in there, and it was like a couple months ago, and when I came back across it and started listening to it, I was just like, okay, William, like there's some funny stuff here. You gotta listen to this. And he listened to it and he's like, we gotta make something out of this. And I said, yeah. I said, why don't we just like put a beat, and then we'll like just start like putting like, little sound bites in of like just bizarre things that were being said, And so I made like and we tease Tog a lot, so it's all in good fun, but yeah, so we made like a Tog tune of Togisms.
That's great.
Pretty funny. We're actually working on one of Jillisms also.
Yeah, I definitely want to get in on that. I've got a few Jill clips I've been saving up.
Cool. Yeah, there was one day where it was like 40 minutes of him talking, and there was like he went on this rant where he started cussing and everything. I've never heard him cuss before. So it was perfect that we like captured it,
Yeah. A bit of a rarity on that Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also thinking just now, I had like forgotten about it, but I had called into Pine Creek show at least once. I'm trying to remember what even the topic was. Um, I got to go back and find that now. I think he demolished me though.
Oh,
Pine
really?
Creek's pretty solid debater, you know. Yeah, I tried to
He is
challenge
pretty
him on
good.
stuff.
Yeah. I was watching him, gosh, way back when. He was one of the first, like, sort of atheist YouTubers I think I saw way back. I think when he first
Really?
started doing it, and like Anthony Magnabosco and him, and well, no, I take that back. The Atheist Experience were the first ones that I kind of like, spent time listening to their content and stuff. What's his name? I forget his name. The lead guy.
Dillahunty? Well, he's not with them anymore.
Yeah. Well, back then he was, but yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got into like all this stuff too. Pretty much AXP and Sam Harris, and I didn't hear about Pine Creek until much more recently. Like when he got into that whole thing with Nitty and Pocket Locker, I think Stephanie Helms, Oz was there. Like a bunch of people got involved with that whole thing.
I
think that was
I discovered Pine Creek in like 2016, I think. Was when I discovered him.
Oh wow. That's around the time I kind of started getting into AXB.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that before I really discovered that there was like a YouTube community of atheists, I saw, like maybe a handful of episodes of the Atheist Experience and just enjoyed, like the responses and stuff, to the call-ins. And I really wasn't aware that like chat panels, discussion panels, or any of that stuff happened until I kind of stumbled across it and then got involved in it that same year, like 2016. But yeah, it's been a weird ride so far.
Right. Yeah. So I got into all that, and I was like very heavily involved in side chats. I would watch the show every Sunday, or if I missed it for some reason, I would be going to I would watch it later while I was working or something like that, just listen back. But I really got into, so when I started getting into like actual like open rooms and stuff like that was through a guy named Travis Pangburn. Have you heard of Pangburn?
No.
He's still got a channel. He's I think he's posted on other platforms. They're still on YouTube sometimes. He's got like a whole team of people now. If you look up Pangburn Philosophy,
What's his
he's
name
been doing
again?
it for a long time too. Travis Pangburn.
No, no, I've never heard of him.
So he actually hosted an event which included like Matt Dillahunty, Sam Harris, Douglas Murray. I mean, he's done some pretty big ones. He's hosted Richard Dawkins, Lawrence Krauss, all those guys. But he had a falling out with some of them over some financial issues, and so he kind of got out of that and just went back into this kind of like online debate sphere, which he calls the War of Ideas. He's a pretty big platform, and I mean, I've always he's one of those people who's even as he kind of grows is willing to pretty much engage with any little guy who comes in and is on it with honest inquiry. You know what I mean? Like as long as you're not a troll, he's willing to engage arguments with anybody. And so I've had some really fascinating conversations with him. That so I definitely recommend.
The name of his channel is War of Ideas.
No. His .com is War of Ideas .com, I believe. But his channel is Pangburn Philosophy.
What is it called again? One more time.
Pangburn Philosophy. Pangbburn.
Okay. Okay, I see it.
Super nice guy, approachable. And anytime he's like in Discord or something, you just chat him up. I mean, like I said, he's just one of the most Genuine people I think I've met in the sphere who's got the level of influence that he does.
Cool. Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of interesting topics.
Yeah, he's covered just about everything in there, and he's worked with all kinds of people. Like I said, other than like Dillahunty, I mean, he's done work with Atheist Republic, and yeah, I mean, he's one of his best videos, I think, is him and Armin from Atheist Republic, and they end up they have an in-person interview with real neo-Nazis, and it was just I think it's epic myself. It's almost like that. I don't remember the musician's name right now, but like that black musician who went in and converted KKK members. It's almost on that level.
Oh, right. Yeah, he got them to give up their robes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There was a documentary done about him, and I forget the name of it. I used to remember it because I wanted to see it. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was really, really good. Let's see.
That guy's name now. I'm trying to remember. Daryl something?
Accidental Courtesy. There we go. Daryl Davis, right?
All right, yeah, there you go.
Daryl Davis is an accomplished musician who's played all over the world. Yeah, he likes to meet and befriend members of the Ku Klux Klan. Really interesting. Yeah, I want to see this. I wonder if it's streaming anywhere.
Are you going to share?
Oh, I was just gonna look to see if it was streaming anywhere. Like on any of the main services. I don't see it. It's on like a rental basis on Amazon and Apple TV. It's only $1 though from Apple TV. It's not too bad, I guess.
No.
Watch movie. If I say that, what happens when I click that? Nothing. No. Yeah. No, that's cool. There's another good documentary that covers some interesting territory in the South, in Alabama, and it's about the oldest Mardi Gras and the traditions that surround it, which is in God, what is the name of the city? I forget the name of the city, but it's in Alabama, and it's been going on for like 100 years or 150 years or something, or maybe longer, and I forget. But it's a segregated Mardi Gras down there. It's like one of the last places where, or maybe one of the only places in America where it is. But they have like a white Mardi Gras and they have a black Mardi Gras. They have a white court of the Mardi Gras for the white group and a black court for the black group, and it's bizarre. It's an interesting documentary. It covers people in every like part of the story, if you know what I mean, like people that worked in the houses of the people that were going to these like society lunches. I was looking at the things that surround this event and the differences between the two groups, and it's like on the white group, it's obviously like a lot of old money, a lot of rich people. They spend like $25,000 on like outfits and events and stuff like this, just for fun. And
right, of course.
Yeah, and like there's a big tea event, and then there's like a luncheon, and then there's a dinner, and then there's a wine tasting. And at every one of these events, people are expected to wear like beautiful dresses and never wear the same thing twice, and gorgeous hats, and you're supposed to look like you can be talked about. You're supposed to look sharp, right? And all it's very much a high profile sort of visible society thing. and they just treat it so much also like it's just how their life is, very matter of factly about all of it. You know, like this one girl talks about with her housekeeper how she has like a huge stack of invitations and she doesn't even know who they're from, but she just responds to them and goes where people tell her to go. It's just like, but there's so much money spent, you know, just like, and they don't even feel it, you know, like they don't feel a dent from any of that. And it's just like that mindset kind of fascinates me, of never ever having want or need of anything, just totally provided for, privileged, you know. It must be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but I also think it makes me like one extremely vulnerable. Like those people have no means of dealing with just like regular everyday situations. You take that privilege away from them, right? They're just not equipped to, like, the type of people that probably like wouldn't know how to hail a cab. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, because it's always done for them.
right.
Those things are always taken care of for them, yeah. Or like how to, like, you know, pay their water bill or you know, yeah. Those kinds of things.
Hey, peace, Jill. See you there.
I suppose I will say hello to Jill. No, but it I have it. I doubt it would get you a copyright strike, but it's a really interesting just portrayal of life, and the environment is absolutely beautiful. Like this place, it's a very old city, and they don't cut their trees, right? And their trees, like all the roots have just completely busted up like all the streets and the sidewalks, and some of the times they fix it and some of the times they don't, but they definitely never touch the trees. So the trees are like huge and just glorious, and yeah, it makes the place look very sort of gothic almost, you know, lots of Spanish moss hanging off of everything, and yeah, it's just really, really beautiful. Everything's very lush and green, and the people are really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah, it's called Order of Myth. I could show you a little bit, or we could watch a trailer, but I do have it.
Yeah, let's check out a little bit of it. Worst
All
case,
right, cool.
if they give me the copyright, I can just go and edit it later.
All right, cool. Let me pull it up.
And side chat, I shared a link for Simon's looks like one of Simon's latest videos, and also music video from Halsey and William, a few other people there. If you have not seen, go check it out.
What were you mentioning?
Oh, I put some links inside chat. So there's I put your Breakfast at Tiffany's cover.
Oh, sweet. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right, I am looking and finding it. Oh my goodness, that's my husband.
Did we find it? Take a second.
I'm trying. It's not where I thought it was going to be. So let me just pull it up another way.
I can tell you what's up.
Where's it at?
I meant to post this one up last night, so just put it here now.
It may have gotten misplaced, so hold on a sec.
All right. No worries. The comfortable silence. I got about another. Let's see. I think I could do another hour. So I will repost the invite link in case anybody else wants to come in and chat it up. I'll wait for Halsey here. We're gonna little watch party going on. For a limited time on. I guess I can also address this comment. It's going to do its own video, but I don't think that's really necessary. So go back to this commenter we're dealing with here. Can we read this? Where is it? Oh, maybe I didn't upload it. I'll do that now.
All right, I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you said? I totally didn't hear the last thing you said unless you're talking to someone in the side chat.
No, yeah, I'm just talking to side chat while we were waiting. I was gonna see about reading one of my comment threads here while we were waiting. But
cool.
Whenever you're ready. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm just waiting for this to download. I guess it got accidentally put onto a cloud drive, and I have to pull it. So.
I think I still have a screenshot. Otherwise, I'm just full of crap. I swear I did. Nope. I have the other two, but I don't have the most recent one. So this number one person who's been commenting on my now month-old video had a follow-up I was going to respond to here. So, and they say, dude, you're complaining that you can't make it because you're stoned. I understand journey, but the journey doesn't shift blame. Aren't you glad I'm bumping up this video in the algorithms? Let's keep this thread going. As a content creator, I understand how hard it is to get any likes, shares, views, and even harder to get comments. Good on you for responding to me. This is doing a lot for your channel. No, I don't know that it's doing so much for my channel. I do appreciate the engagement, but right. Number one user here did misread the entire situation here. It's not so, and so again, anyone who's following the plot was complaining about not making it. There's a very specific situation where I didn't get to do my my 3-day stay at the treatment center because I tested dirty for THC. And so in the video, I'm just talking about that, and they apparently got the impression that I was complaining about something or trying to blame somebody for something, which is just completely off the mark. But go ahead and continue to comment. I mean, that's fine. I'm just not gonna, waste the power of my thumbs on it at this particular moment. It's not, I don't really have to defend myself to that person. But yeah. I mean, that's where I was at with that one. So I just thought that was an interesting response there. Yeah, but I'm fine with it. I mean, you can comment whenever. I'm surprised I don't get a lot more trolls. So, but this actually seems like a genuine person and not, not necessarily a troll. I just think they're very misguided in their
a little
response.
Unrealistic, perhaps idealistic, full of grandeur, delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a little. Maybe they have an impression that this is doing more than it is, but I see it as a mutual back pat. Good job. Thank you very much. Just patting each other on the back with comments and likes and stuff. That's how I kind of see the whole likes and comments thing, in YouTube. But,
well, and there's like no substance to it if they don't really understand what they are commenting on. Like, it's clear to me that they didn't they didn't listen to what I was saying before responding. You know what I mean? So, like, if you had actually listened to the whole video, then you would know that like none of this stuff is relevant. Like, so that was kind of my take on it. But I always appreciate the engagement. I don't have any problem with arguing with somebody, but it's like, if you're going to tell me about me, I'm going to tell you how you're wrong, or how you're just telling me something I already know. I mean, that's kind of where my head was at with it. So.
All right, I do have it, and it is working. So let me see if I can pull it up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and for anybody who's wondering, I do have 4 days clean off of THC at this point. So hey, tiny victories, cool.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
All right, so
there's lots of traditions to Mardi Gras. Each parade has an emblem float that's the same every year. Like the double M's has the broken column. A lot of people say it's a broken column of the Confederacy. I don't know if that's right or not, but there are a lot of theories of why we have a broken column. On that float rides Folly and Death. Folly chases Death around the column all through the parade, beats him with blown up pig bladders. It's the old spirit of Folly driving Death out so the party can commence. And some of them call it, our black friends call it double around the post.
Interesting thing, real quick, about Mobile. I believe they have like they're like one of the highest, like they have some of the most war veterans, I think, in the U.S. If I remember correctly. It's like significant. Like, they have a huge percentage of vets that come from there.
Interesting. Definitely didn't know that. All right. Well, let me know if you want me to stop it. Like if you get bored, or if you think it's too much for your channel or whatever. We could...
No, go for it.
Okay.
I'd like to welcome all y'all here tonight. On behalf of myself and the reception committee, girls, I cannot tell you how excited we are for y'all. Y'all are gorgeous, and tonight is about y'all, and we're here to serve y'all and make sure you have the time of your life.
My grandma said, I hope she don't get the white court from the black court. She said, what if it's gonna be bad? Because I think they was filming her over there. She thought she about to cuss or something. They said my grandma said she gonna be mad if they do it from the black from the white. She said if it was more ghetto like for the black people, she said it would be in the high miss, because she wouldn't want it like that. Because like the wolf is like, yeah, you saying, yeah. Bling bling. I mean, all right, but I got it. But all I'm saying, y'all don't need to do that, because if they compare us from the white, from the black, I hope you know they feel this now. I know, the white, they probably gonna be better than us.
one thing about Mobile, I'm gonna put a plug in for them because we have no trouble with the blacks. Blacks and the whites get along fine. A lot of the white people go to the black balls, and some of the blacks go to the white balls. You know, I mean, they don't. It's no conflict like you read in the paper. Birmingham and places like that. Mobile's Mardi Gras, the blacks and the whites get along fine.
This here has got to be in accordance with your crown.
Right.
Now just look straight, Helen, and
Okay.
get it back. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Mainly what we've been working with is trying to get the right proportion for Helen, because she's, one thing, she's tall, which is wonderful. You know, she's got the height, and we don't want to cut that down, that's for sure.
Now just that. This is, kind of has an Argentine flair to it. King Perón of Argentina, and King Joseph kind of liked his flair.
I'm going to crown this young lady. Now let's see if it's not a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy,
it's
that
tighter.
feels.
Yeah.
The queen will become an actress that night. And this event will be more inspiring than any Broadway show.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How are you
morning.
doing? You look wonderful.
Thank you,
Do I
dear.
need to bow?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Okay.
Well,
okay.
Good morning, teachers, staff, and students. We have a special announcement this morning, and this announcement is in the form of congratulations to two of our most distinguished faculty members. Maybe you did not get a chance to see yesterday's paper, but we have royalty among us.
And y'all heard my grandmother on the phone, so y'all know she can talk, don't you? She wasn't a slave, but they had a cotton farm. Her grandfather and his children had a cotton farm, and she had to pick cotton. And she said that she was going to take her grandchildren out there one day and
So,
teach us how to pick
real
cotton.
quick,
I'm not going.
What was
is this
that?
kind of is this talking about kind of like the modern? So this is like so historically this has been like kind of like a melting pot in Alabama, and so they're kind of talking about how this like translates today, or is this?
This is in 2007, and it wasn't like there's definitely a separation in the community, even though.
Oh, so they're still segregated.
Yeah, not like so much in like, you know, the whole of the community, but in some ways. And, you know, I think it's maybe felt in ways even where it's not segregated, that they, you know, that there is segregation still happening, like it just in the community, even though it's not in every part of it. I think that it sort of affects it, you know. But I mean, it does. I mean, the film was done by the main character that you haven't met yet, the one of the people on the white side of things did this documentary. But yeah, so it just shows like the people that are involved in this particular year's court, and all the activities that were surrounding it, and you know, the family's involvement and interaction and stuff. money that they spend and all the stuff they do, and the attitudes that surround it, the history. It's just really interesting.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Got you. I
Should
was
I
just
keep
trying to
going?
put it together with what he said earlier, because he said that like they didn't have racial tensions like they did in other parts of the state. Is kind of what one of the white guys, of course, was saying. But I don't know
Right.
if the people of color in the community feel the same way.
Right. I mean, if there was racial tension, I'm not sure he would be the one that would be feeling it, So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, we could stop whenever you want if it gets to be like, something that you want to maybe save for later or whatever.
No, yeah, I just wanted to make sure
I'm
phone
not.
was plotted.
Yes. No, King Robertson is not.
Sounds like they've got a great group of guys too doing it all tonight. So
This is kind of the first like white event that we see that's related to this Mardi Gras thing.
2007 King and Queen of Carnival. Isn't it perfect for Mobile tonight to honor the greatest honor that we can bestow on anyone in Mobile, Queen of Carnival? We know that you represent our city, you represent your family, you represent the Carnival Association, but more importantly, you represent a new generation of mayors and Lionses from Mobile. We're honored to have you, Queen Helen.
Thank you.
Max, you and your family are certainly no strangers to Carnival as well. And here you are now, Lord of Misrule. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you lift your glass to King Felix III, 2007, Monarch of Merriment, Lord of Misrule, Paul Max Barry Bruckman. To Max.
Here. I'd like to thank the Carnival Committee for affording us this opportunity, which we are so looking forward to in the coming months, the festivities and everything else. And then finally, I'd like to propose a toast to Queen-to-be Helen, Queen Helen. Here.
This is like a prom.
They get dressed up a lot for stuff. They like to get dressed up. The people that are in those social circles, yeah, they seem to have a lot. They make a lot of reasons to dress up, and they really like to dress up. So yeah,
I'm just saying those people look like really young. They look like they could have just been fresh out of high school.
They probably are around like 20, first year college age type of thing. Yeah, so you're not wrong.
Where do you gotta come?
I got all three. 1, 2.
I found out on April 19th. So I told my whole family 2 days later. And that's when I started asking all my family members if they wanted to do the court, and told them that I wanted them to be on there with me.
It's Stephanie, looking like his granddaddy. You come, Pete. God, dog. Okay, stand straight up. Bring your hands.
Even though we have two different sets of kings and queens, I'm representing the whole city, not just the African American perspective of Mardi Gras. It's the entire city.
If you look at Mardi Gras years ago, you found a lot of black gentlemen in the parade, but they were carrying torches to light the parade, as well as huge lanterns that were burning with kerosene. And that was the only participation they had. So they went from there to their own organizations, and here we are.
Now, last Sunday, I don't know whether you noticed last Sunday paper, but they had the colored people had their debutantes in the paper last Sunday. Yeah, and they put on a show just like the white people do. I mean, and there's some real wealthy ones too. It's a lot of well-educated colored people, lots of them, and doctors and lawyers and stuff, and they're good students.
When she said she wanted to be the queen, I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "That's a lot of money."
Spend some money. I'm telling you, it takes money, you know, for that, for sure.
What I had saved still wasn't everything, so it was just like working and penny pinching, pretty much. Not really penny pinching, just paying what I had to, and everything else just had to go to Mardi Gras. I just couldn't do anything else. It's about a car and a half. Maybe, well, I would say a car. At the minimum, you're gonna spend a car, a nice 20. Just one person.
You know, we have so much fun at Mardi Gras. A lot of times we forget what business it brings to our community. So in 2004, we commissioned the University of Alabama Business School to come to Mobile and spend a year studying what the actual economic impact is of Carnival on Mobile year round. And we were amazed, we were astounded. In 2004, for instance, it was $227 million.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
It's obscene the amount of money that it takes to hand sew these. It's all about the hand sewing and the hand craftsmanship. I got to tell you, this really is one of my favorite things, the way this moves and flows through here. We had done some small grapes before, and these big ones, they look like Tiffany jewelry. I'm proud of these. See, these are the Bruckmans. The family name is Bruckman, and this is their absolute family crest. And it's the bridge man on a bridge. And it's kind of funny. I do this for one reason, and that's to associate myself and get to know these wonderful people. See, I've made great friends doing this.
I don't know exactly
I don't know if this
how
is the
the
second or
rules
third
for
event.
being queen works, but I definitely think my grandmother, as the oldest living queen, had an influential part for me being chosen. She told me that I needed to be the gracious queen because I was representing the whole city in front of everyone.
I would like to welcome all of y'all here tonight. This is about the 9th annual wine tasting that we've done for debutantes. I would love for you to go around the table and introduce yourselves because we grown-ups don't know all of you young people.
I'm Larry James Finley. I'm Zach Wolf. I'm Helen.
Debutante, I know it's a French word. It's just for a young girl, and it's the time in which she's making her introduction into society, and she can get married, and she's like ready to start a family. I don't really know why Mardi Gras is related to making your debut and everything. It's just a Mobile thing, and it's always been like this.
I can't drink a lot of red wine because of the histamines in it. And it'll make me turn red in the face and stop me up unless I take an antihistamine first. So, and particularly being down here in a hot climate most of the year, I drink white wine 80% of the time, even with a steak. What I'm going to attempt to do here is I'm going to take a small amount of wine in my mouth and suck in, don't y'all do it yet, and suck in air over it. And then swallow it, and then think about the sensation that's then in your mouth, because your mouth will be filled with flavor. I don't hear any slurping. Okay. Now swallow it, keep your lips shut, and feel the flavor just expand in your mouth.
So
All right,
strange.
so
It just
third or fourth, I think third event, or is it the fourth? I don't know.
The Carnival Association and some.
What
hold
were
on.
you
Can you say that again?
I think this is like the fourth now event on the white side, like for this
Right.
association with this Mardi Gras thing. You know, just like all the dressing up, the snazzy, evening, the drinks, expensive food. I mean, it's crazy
Yeah,
how many parties they have just associated with this one thing.
it's so strange just to see the way. I mean, when you look at it, it almost looks like an event from the past. Like they really are like living in it like a past time.
You're right. Yeah, they definitely do keep a lot of traditions from the past, and they have an attitude about it. Like a certain kind of attitude that I think that they really want to like kind of guard it and keep it as it is and not let it be sort of polluted and made too modern or changed too much so that it no longer resembles itself. I think they actually do really want to preserve these things, and that's why it seems like that. That's why it feels kind of like this is like from like what, the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah, exactly. If it was you could like put like film grain on it, and I would believe
Right.
that it was.
And the music too. Like
Yeah.
listen to that music. I mean, it's like big band.
Yeah.
It's waltz. I mean, yeah.
Crazy.
So you want to keep going?
Yeah, keep going with it.
The real societies, they get together and they and they just select them under a group, and it's handy down. I can pick out names real easy when I see them. I knew what Grandpa real well, so like this, just hand it on down, and I can usually pick out pretty much who's gonna be queen.
I do want to say those two guys they
pedigree,
creep me the hell out.
That mask isn't doing him any favors on the left
no,
there.
the mask on the dude with the are those? I guess they're sunglasses. I don't know what his hat says.
Right.
Just something really off-putting about the two of those characters.
Yeah, then he's like non-smiling, just kind of. Yeah, I know what you mean. Unsettling.
If your grandpa and uncle didn't belong to it, and you didn't belong to a certain family, you didn't get in. I mean, it was more private.
One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Fifth event.
When my parents first wanted me to do this was, I was not your cup of tea. It's not mine.
She's the filmmaker, that girl right there.
But the more I think about it, the more fun it.
Lady of the Court.
I think that's her.
Yeah.
You like it, the doll?
I think I like it. Okay.
That's what we're going for.
Okay. I was always liberal politically. I was always more sensitive to, racism. And I mean, politically, I was just more liberal. It was always kind of hard. Would it fit like around my hip? Being raised by people that were very influential in my life, that raised me, that were Black, I think what's always bothered me was the way in which people in the South were able to distinguish this one Black person they had a relationship with from the Black community as a whole. They would get close and love this person, but to there. Usually these people are in positions of employment. You love them and you know their stories and you give them an extra 20 at Christmas and, this, that, and the other. How's your daughter? How's your sister? Have those conversations. But there's a fear for getting closer than that.
Okay. Okay, now for the problem we're having with this.
Oh, just tuck it in.
No, I mean, as far as wearing it with the train.
Oh, right. Because the issue is you have to attach the train to the back of.
Yeah, in order to keep that train on, there's a harness that you have to wear underneath it.
A harness?
Yes. It's just straps.
It goes underneath my top?
And it goes underneath your top.
Wow. Do I get to take the harness off after I take the train off? Harness, like a horse. This is really like going back to Victorian times. I feel like
you'll feel like real royalty.
That actually is the cool part about it. I've been thinking about more and more.
The tradition of it.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, I like it. There's something about it that appeals to me in a way that, I'm getting a greater and greater affinity for my roots.
Mhm.
I mean,
This
I'm
will
never
do.
gonna
I think
ultimately
this
live
whole
there, but
experience will,
I think so too.
it enlightens you about a lot.
I think so too.
A lot of history.
Yeah.
So what has happened so far?
They wanted him to come to their house and stay with them because he couldn't stay in no hotel because he was black. So
They're talking about how black people couldn't stay in hotels, right?
yes.
And how they used to have to stay in people's houses when they came because they didn't have anywhere to sleep. So again, where does Miss Jackson come in?
Duke Ellington came and stayed at his house before because he performed and he couldn't stay at the hotel.
Okay, so I think we got it straight now.
When we had celebrities to visit the city, such as Marian Anderson, Paul Robeson, Dorothy Dandridge, they couldn't stay in hotels. Therefore, they would stay with whomever had the nicest house. My grandfather was a doctor in the city. Their home was one of the nicer homes in the community. And my grandfather has always been a very hospitable person.
All right, so they were talking about this annual, that's the word we know, right? What does it mean?
Every year.
Okay, this annual dance they have, and this one was going to be special because Duke Ellington was coming to
So,
play.
quick pause for a
I have
second.
a sort of a cherished memory.
Sure.
Is she saying that celebrities, that people of color still can't stay in the hotels, or was she speaking about like
The
historically?
past. Yeah, I'm not sure when they say when that situation sort of stopped being that way, but at the time she's talking about is like when she was like a young child, because there was a person that came to visit her. I forget who it is, but it was a famous person that sung her a lullaby, and it was like a famous musician. But they stayed at her house because at that time in that place, I guess there was no available hotel for Black people.
Okay, but it's not still that highly segregated.
No, I don't think that's no. I think this is definitely a thing of the past they're talking about. I just don't know when it ended. So they might talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Robeson came here to Mobile and he sang Brahms' lullaby to the baby, and it happened to be me.
Fisher, you've been telling them about that time Duke Ellington came and stayed at the place.
Keeping folks from going places just because they were black.
Sixth event.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. I'm good. Good to see you. Hey. The size of the stones are incredible. And the fur is original. What we did, we added the border to give the mantle the length that we wanted today. And the other thing that we added was Helen's initials. Helen Beatrix Mayer. That's Mrs. Mayer. That was her grandmother. She was queen in 1935.
And in all of our lives, sometimes we have a dark part of our lives that we rather not to deal with. Some Africans believe that the ancestors, they're not dead. They're right here today. Can't you feel them?
In 1859, slavery was still going on. But at that point in time, the slave trade itself had been abolished and was illegal. The Mayer family, which exists today, even here today in Mobile, they owned a lot of land. The story has it that old Tim Mayer made a bet that he could go and bring back a ship of slaves. He got the schooner, Clotilde, and brought the slaves back here into Mobile Bay. Well, because it was illegal, he told the first mate on the ship that he was going into town to collect his bet. And if he didn't get back within an hour, to run it aground, set it afire. to get rid of the evidence. And he did not come back within the hour. So the first mate did just that. He ran her aground and set her on fire. All of the Africans that were on the ship were able to get off of the ship, and they went into the woods, what is known today as Africa Town. Plateau, Alabama was what it was named prior to that.
Wow.
They hid. That was the
That's a
last
crazy
slave
story.
ship.
I know,
So
right?
they
That is
burn
nuts.
evidence and they just, oh, wow.
Just disposing of like a couple hundred lives, no big deal.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, they managed to escape, so, I mean, good
Yeah.
on them.
I hope that that's true. You know, I hope that somehow maybe that first mate, you know, did something to help them escape or something. Who knows? But I mean, I sure hope that that's true. I hope that nobody was chained up and burned alive, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Or something happened, but you know.
To enter the United States.
1859, and it landed in Mobile, Alabama at Plateau. During that time, people who came to this country and actually settled on land had squatters' rights. If that's the case, that probably could be an argument made for who owns the property Scott Paper Company International owned, because that's where they were. They were all in that area, and so it's interesting because there are some families in Mobile who were really intricately involved in their ancestors.
The Mayer family are the primary property owners within the whole area of Africa Town. And one thing about them, they don't sell land. They'll let you lease it or rent it, but they won't sell any land. With their ancestors being the persons who concocted the idea of bringing the slaves here to Mobile, I think that they have some of the original artifacts that were part of the slave ship, the Clotilda, but they have not been cooperative. We don't know what their reasons are, but we're going to continue to push on with the story, but not for punitive purpose, but for posterity.
My grandfather, he was really from Africa. He really was brought into Plateau out there, on a boat. And from that, the family spread it. His name was Barry Malone. Sure right.
Helen Mayer, her family is the people that brought the
Clotilda
ship.
Oh, yeah, sure. I know, right.
So my people was on her
I know
people's
what you're
ship.
talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So the queen on the black side, her family are descendants of the slaves that were brought over on the ship that was brought by her family that was set on fire.
Oh, wow.
Talk about
That's,
tension, eh?
yeah. Yeah.
Say, okay, now I have it. I got you. Okay. I got you. Am I straight with you now? See, am I straight with you? We're off somewhere. Here, I would just go every other.
Yeah, there's gonna be an awful lot of stones on here too.
Yes, I agree. The best part for me is to see that queen or king or lady hit the runway, hit the stage. And I just run out there and I just sit and I just watch them flow across the stage and just watch it just dazzle, dazzle, dazzle. I like to dazzle. All my trains dazzle. They're just blinding. And I like that look. I like that the lights.
The entire gown will be jeweled this way, and this is the front of the gown, and this is very, very flattering on Helen, because anybody that doesn't have a lot of bust line, it really does. And this, believe it or not, is almost a replica of her grandmother's gown that she wore in 1935. It's hard to believe that those appliques actually came off of your mantle. I think the challenge that has been to us is trying to capture.
Oh, listen, you're not comfortable there. He said, look in the dining room there and get a chair.
Oh, okay.
Go get a chair to sit down. You're not comfortable. And I wasn't looking that day.
That is a much better idea.
Oh, it is.
And of course, the beauty part about Mobile Mardi Gras, it's focused on one queen. We don't have different queens like the carnival has in New Orleans. In Mobile, there is one queen of Mardi Gras.
My name is Aaliyah Jones. This is my story. Have you ever had a moon pie before? I have. They are very scrumptious. My favorite kind of moon pie is a chocolate moon pie. When I eat this moon pie, it makes me feel like jumping in a pool full of chocolate filling. When I smell the moon pie, the smell knocks me out like Muhammad Ali. The moon pie feels mushy and soft. The moon pie is as soft as a pillow made out of marshmallows. I will shave my head and join the army just for a moon pie.
Oh, that was great. I love the line, that moon pie knocked me out like Muhammad Ali. That was epic.
She's really into the moon pies.
I've admired your work.
Thank you. And I always admire yours.
We're doing a Lulu of one this year.
Are you?
It's purple just like that.
Oh, is it? I'm dying to see it. I'm
For the
looking forward
king?
to it. Yeah. But Kelly has invited me over to his studio to see the
Sure,
queen.
you're welcome to my store any day to see the King's
Thank
train.
you. Anytime Ron Barrett tells you you're the Bob, you're the, I'm up on cloud nine now. When he tells you he's been watching you and he loves it, he loves your detail, it makes you feel wonderful. So all our hard work is worth it.
You cannot buy a ticket to one of the old organizations. I can't speak about the new ones. No one is invited except the active and the honorary members and their wives or dates. So it's a private party, you might say. Like who you invite into your home is your business.
Hey, Joe, on open house, we discussed about getting a mask cut. I am tired of answering questions from my members and other members in the organization. Two things I want to know. One, we need a mask to show us, because I'm going to tell you, if you're a beer drinker, you ain't going to work it out of this mask. Two, you can't breathe out of it. Three, and it don't mean anything about this, this mask fits a mongoloid. You hear me? Okay.
If
Whoa,
everybody would
whoa,
take
wait.
1 minute and
The
put
last thing he just said?
Yeah, just breezed it on out. Like it was just perfectly okay to
Normal.
say that. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yep. 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 But this is just a fly on the wall kind of a documentary, you know? I mean, so you get to just see like the natural attitudes and reactions of this culture, and it's interesting. It really is.
damn beer down and listen. If you take this mask and try to wear it like this, it's going to be like a mongoloid. Take the mask and tie you a knot in the back of the mask. Like that. Put the damn thing on. It won't move. Okay? It won't move. Tie it tight as you can in the back. Your hat is going to come to right here. Cut from here up. You can cut from here up. The whole thing with Mardi Gras, for those of you that ever thought about it, the whole thing with Mardi Gras is it is a mystic society that nobody is supposed to know who you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could have your attention, please. I think we all need to raise our glass and let's toast.
So was he's saying all the Mystic Society members are supposed to wear that mask to conceal their identity?
Not that mask specifically, but a lot of them do wear masks at their events.
Involved in strikers
Yeah.
ever since 1874.
Okay.
I'm a fourth generation, and we are so proud tonight to have you lead our dance. You're the fifth generation. I also want to tell you, I just think you're an incredible young lady.
The Mystic Society is a group of people, men or women, or men and women together, that choose to remain anonymous, really for fun. And it's part of our whole culture with Carnival and with Mardi Gras and Mobile is to have mystic societies where you actually don't know who's behind the mask. You don't actually know who's in the organization. That makes it fun.
If they had a neighbor's out that didn't have an invitation, a mask for the taker out, I'd volunteer to do it. Now, I wore a mask in many cases, they never knew who took them out. And from a practical standpoint, when you get behind that mask, you do some things sometimes you wouldn't do with it, without it on.
There's a new sheriff in town, and he has decided that tonight is going to be one for the memory books. Have a great evening.
What is this, like the 6th event or something?
7, I think, of
7.
counting.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Helen Beatrice May.
It's weird, right? A little bit.
That looks like straight up KKK, right? Well, he doesn't have a full head.
Clannish. I mean, if it didn't have that association,
The dress code in the South.
it would look kind of interesting and just, masquerade-ish, secret society-ish, But, I can't help it. It's really hard not to think of it,
South is people like to get dressed up and go to a party. For people in the South, it kind of says, look, we're traditionalists. We like the fact that we have a heritage, and we like the fact that, we're tied back to history. So we're going to keep doing what our ancestors did, and that's what they did. And we're not going to change things, and we're not going to let people show up to these parties underdressed. And I think that's great. It kind of ties in the whole, so much of it's tied to history and what happened in the past.
We all value our trees, and we all spend a lot of time worrying about them and nursing them and caring for them. And you'd say, how's that affect Mardi Gras? Is that we run the route every year to be sure that we can lift the trees rather than trim the trees. That's what we do. And we very seldom ever touch a tree because trees are really sacred in our community. It just fits right into what we value. We value our roots, no pun intended, but we value those things, and that's part of our culture. Our canopy of oaks is throughout our city. We're not exactly druids, but we do love trees.
Personally, I'm all for that outlook.
May I have your attention, please? I'm your pianist. I'm Bob Holm, and I've had the privilege of
Yeah, I
teaching
think I was.
both Mrs. Youngblood
Okay,
and
so
her
this
daughter
is
Brittany.
event number 8.
And this is their favorite piece. It's an etude by Chopin.
I think the two women who raised us the most were you and Dora.
Yes, how is she doing?
She's good. She just called me the other day.
She did.
She's gonna be 78 this year.
No, she looks great.
She looks amazing.
Great.
And she met Etienne. We went to church with her.
You did?
When he came this summer, which
That's
is amazing.
great. That is
Sorry.
great.
And
Oh, my.
and she told me I always said I was gonna get married when I was 30, 5.
Uh-huh.
And she said, gotta make it at least 30, Britt, and I'm 78. So, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, with the other party, where's the other party?
I don't even know.
Oh, you don't know?
There's a pile of invitations.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of go where I'm told to go.
Yeah.
Next.
That float with the wind, huh?
Exactly. I forgot what it's like in Mobile, that there is a way of doing things. There is a code of behavior and a code of conduct that is the norm. To be honest, I wasn't particularly wanting to do this. My debut. My mom wanted me to do it. It was important to her. What?
What?
What? It's true.
Okay.
I didn't. And I kind of feel myself, I'm less relaxed.
Form isn't relaxed unless it's second nature. My feeling is that your home, your roots, where you grew up, are really just as much a part of you as your mother and your father, are a part of you. And I see this as a way of kind of helping her reconnect with where she's from.
You can't have reconciliation if only one side or one party wants to be reconciled and the other side is staying away and doesn't want to show any interest in it. You know, there's the Mayan National Park not so far from here. When I saw the sign, the Mayan National Park, I said, oh yes, that's the fellow who hired illegally a ship of slaves and brought them here, the beginning of Africa towns. And so we have mixed emotions about that name. How resilient the body and the spirit of individuals to be able to survive that kind of African Holocaust. Yeah. And we today have cast that out of our minds and we have not paid attention to it. Yes, sir. Friends, let me just say, many of our white brothers and sisters are worried. Every time we talk about something like this, they always think we talk about reparations, that we're going to hand them a bill, that they're going to have to give us some money. We don't want any money. It's not about money for the sacrifices. No way that you get paid in terms of dollars and cents what our people have sacrificed. It's not about money. It's about the other kind of currency, a change of the heart, not the change of the pocket. Friends, we're living in a very terrible time, a time in which many of us as African Americans have known domestic terrorism for many years, but nobody's wanted to say anything about that. A time in which our people have been lynched, even here in Mobile. In fact, a street has been named after the individual who was lynched. These are not ancient things. These are not things of our past, but these are things right in our midst.
Oof,
It's
that one.
really a part of the city's history that the city is not proud of. It's something that I think the city is overcoming. People who live through it.
Might get in trouble for that image. We'll see what happens.
Oh, I didn't realize that kind of stuff got people in trouble.
I'm not sure. I mean, in the context of the video, obviously, but yeah, it's. Yeah.
My name is Sammy Shepard. This is my 48th year doing the Mardi Gras. That's my brother Louis Charles. He been in a number of years.
Mow him down. Mow him down.
Our job is to take them to town after they finish parade and bring them back. Make sure they be replaced back in the warehouse.
We're doing the condies. Then we do the Mobile Mystics after the condies. Then we come in, we do the Mist of the Stripers. And then we do the MOTs. And then we got all 4 of them Mardi Gras Day.
We can't do it without each other.
Yeah.
It take everybody doing their part.
I brought him from here all the way up.
20 years in the business.
20 year man here. We brought him in when he was a pup. Now he a big dog.
My dad's Joe Richardson. He is the president of the Mobile Mystics, this Mardi Gras organization.
And today I am here to make sure that everything goes smoothly, that all the floats get out. Hopefully it'll help me get in a few years. I'm only 18 years old, and you have to be 21 to join a Mardi Gras organization in Mobile. Some organizations, they have the tradition, and if you're not old Mobile, the ones that have been around for 50, 60 years, then they don't really want you. But the Mobile Mystics, they accept everybody.
My name is Destiny Williams. The title of my story is called Moon Pies. Have you seen a moon pie? Do you like moon pies? I do. I love the banana moon pies. I love them so much that I will not give my moon pies up for nothing in the world. I will not share my moon pies with others. They are fruity and juicy. The moon pies are flavory and sweet. It is as sweet as honey. I am as stubborn as a mule with my moon pies. I really adore my magnificent tree.
I don't know. Am I missing something with the moon pie? What's the moon pie trend? Is it just
I think it's a thing that they do at certain Mardi Gras, including this one, where they throw out moon pies into the crowd. It's just a thing, and I guess it's like a popular thing in that area, just as a junk food, essentially.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never been to a Mardi Gras celebration, so I didn't know.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that the moon pie was a Mardi Gras thing here until this movie, but yeah, have you ever had one? I mean, they're very, very overly sweet, but they're pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I've had them.
But yeah, anyway, I don't know if they're worth all that attention.
Happy Mardi Gras!
Hey,
Yes, sir.
you got a moon pie?
That was the way to get the moon pie.
Huh?
Happy Mardi Gras.
Give me a moon pie.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Give me a moon pie.
Go up for pass. Boom, touchdown.
Roll Tide.
You listened and enjoyed it. Whatever I am, and I know what I am.
It's I'm not gonna say, I don't know the politically correct word for it, but it's like pretty severely retarded kids and all, and it's great. I mean, they love it. They have a wonderful time with it. But like I say, I mean, on the other hand, I mean, it's sad. I mean, to see these kids, but yet what we do and what we bring to them means a whole lot to them. We're going to walk through and go up to the front, and I'll show you the meeting hall because they're getting antsy for a meeting.
I found this really interesting. So, to this day, they still get a percentage of the black people there that basically are just performers or entertainers in the parade, but they don't like participate?
I mean, they participate in that way, but that's the only way they participate. Like, they don't have any organizations with floats in the parade or anything like that. They are the bands and the dancers that probably sort of punctuate the floats, you know, as the parade goes along. Groups of bands, groups of dancers, and torchbearers too. Yeah.
I just find that really strange. Like,
Yeah, and look for I don't know if I remember seeing if there was any like white dance group at all. I think they were all black.
yeah, I haven't noticed any.
Huh. Yeah, I mean in the white parade. I'm wondering about that now because I didn't look for that before, but now I'm curious. So it's like the 8th social event around the Mardi Gras.
You just get along with Southern guys. Yeah, some guys speak very, very fast. Yeah, they don't give it. They mumble. They mumble. They mumble. They don't articulate. It's horrible.
So apparently the parade's outside now. You want to step outside? So I just heard the parade. Yeah, what's going on?
I think this is the first event that I've seen on the black side that's like, you know, an organized social event where everybody dresses up and they do it like it's connected to the Mardi Gras thing. So it's just amazing how much they party every year. Like, just to see, you know, the on the white side, they have like a dozen parties and they're huge parties too. It's not like little stuff.
The Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association welcomes you to the 2007 Grand Marshals Ball.
I did notice at one of the earlier events, they were kind of keeping it low key, but it looked like they had like black people serving them, acting as maitre d' at their parties. They just weren't, you know.
Royal Court.
Do you remember what they were doing at the event?
This is a letter to the editor that I submitted in September of 2006.
Do you remember what they were doing at the event that you're talking about? Where they were acting as like maitre d' or whatever? You're muted. I'm not sure if you know.
Sorry, I got interrupted there.
No, okay. I said, do you remember what they were doing at the other party, the one that you were mentioning?
Yeah, I saw one of them as she was walking away from the table. It looked like she was serving a table, but they only caught like her arm, like in the like the corner of the frame, so it wasn't really obvious.
Was it like a luncheon?
Yeah, they were like seated, like it was a dining event or something.
Okay, I don't remember that, but like this, are you talking about this person specifically or somebody else?
No, you couldn't see who it was. It was a person of color who was serving at the all white party.
You'll see actually in most of the scenes where there's staff that they're black, like almost across the board.
For
Right.
years, I have been an avid participant in Mardi Gras and all of its associated hoopla. In January of last year, when I was telling Mardi
Maybe
Gras
not all of
stories
them, but
to
a
a
lot
husband
of
and a
staff
wife
in
who were
here.
visiting the city, the husband, who is white, exclaimed that he could get ball tickets from his project manager. Their excitement, however, turned quickly to sorrow as I explained that Mardi Gras is also the last stronghold of segregation and that his wife, who is black, would not be admitted to the ball. I offered to invite them to my ball instead, but they were not interested. The segregation part had spoiled it. The folks downtown gonna be mad, this is bad for tourism. But it is the truth, isn't it? We can all kind of skirt around and say, well, they like it like that. And I think that's kind of what everybody wants to say. Well, because we don't have a choice.
In 2000, I came down to Midtown with my son during the Mardi Gras, and I put him on my shoulder. Little did I know that he was going to holler and scream for moon pies and beads, and he wasn't going to get it because he was a young black kid. He did not know that. I knew that, and the young people that was in front of us knew it, so they, on 3 occasions, passed him some items, some beads, some moon pies. After that night, I felt real bad as a dad. My first son, he's a junior, and I felt like I needed to do something, about that. I proceeded to talk to the mayor and talk to some other individuals about possibly having an organization integrated that parade during the parade season.
I like history because if you don't know what's going on in your past, you'll never find out what your future gonna be like. The whole goal is to make sure that we don't repeat the past and segregate anybody. We're not a segregated organization. We're an organization that's open to everybody. I'm pretty sure we covered all the rules of what we can't do. So I'm gonna cover the rules of what we can do. You can have fun. You can throw candy. You can smile. You can jump. You can shout. You can string. You can do all those things. We're gonna wrap this up because time is at essence. Time is at essence. When you get on your float, just remember one thing. You're still making history. You're still making history.
By us not having the float born, us not owning the floats, it makes it very difficult because we only have a 4 or 5 hour span to load the floats.
What we do, we rent our floats. After we use them, they're not good for nothing. So we end up renting them to other organizations that's building up.
I like how that's kind of fucked up what he just said. It's like, after we use them, they ain't good for nothing. So we let someone else use them. Rent them to someone else.
Yeah, that's really jacked up.
Yeah.
They can't afford to build their own floats. Believe it or not, these floats would run you anywhere from 60 to 75,000 from ground up. And the Cavaliers, such good people, they allow y'all to rent these fine, beautiful floats to enjoy y'all's parade, right?
We appreciate it. And you know the good thing about it, we want to grow and be, and y'all are a role model to us. That's how you learn. You watch.
Whoa, wait a minute.
That's a bad role model.
No, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
You need to learn through history.
We wish we could sell our floats to y'all and we could rent them from y'all.
Yeah, you pay to rebuild them, you pay to house them.
Yeah, that's
a whole lot cheaper than.
Did you hear the little bit of bite in that guy's voice just now? Where he's like, you
Actually,
what were you saying?
I happen to be coughing, so I missed the last.
Oh, okay, no problem. Here, let
Sorry.
me run it back just like a tiny, tiny bit because it's an interesting exchange between these people.
To enjoy y'all's parade, right?
We appreciate it. And you know the good thing about it, we want to grow and be, and y'all are a role model to us. That's how you learn. You watch.
Whoa, wait a minute.
That's a band room, man.
No, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
You need to learn through history.
I wish we could sell our floats to y'all and we could rent them from y'all.
Yeah, you pay to rebuild them. You pay to house them.
Yeah, that's the whole.
Right there. So
Yeah.
referring to angry, it's just like a little bit like almost like kind of angry. You know, he said that you pay to rebuild them, you pay to house them. Like you could never do that. You know, it's kind of like a dick about it. Hey, Will.
It's a little veiled anger there. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. We are watching a documentary about the oldest Mardi Gras in the U.S. that's in Mobile, Alabama, and the culture that surrounds it.
Awesome. I am assembling pickup into a pickup mount ring.
Oh, perfect. This is probably good background for you.
That's something to think about. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. You know, we really do. You know, every year I tell you guys how much we appreciate you. Y'all made a lot of people happy.
We deposit your appreciation.
You did?
Yeah.
Did it clear?
It cleared. This year it did.
This year, okay.
Hey, you're in our bar, aren't you?
Yeah. Love it.
You know, New Orleans took two of their oldest organizations, told them they had to integrate, so they just quit parading. Nobody's going to tell me who to come into my house. Black people have their own Mardi Gras and want it that way. The new editor of the newspaper came to Mobile, and one of his first objectives was to integrate Mardi Gras. They called for a meeting at the president of the Mardi Gras, the white president, and the black president of their Mardi Gras. And he called a meeting and told them what he wanted to do. The black folks spoke up and said, "We don't want to do that. We got our Mardi Gras. We don't want you messing with it." That ended that.
Okay, this is the second event for them.
The barrel set straight for the cop's kidney. The cop got scared, the kidney starts to trigger. All the years if I pull this trigger.
My duty today is to have a key around my neck. Now we say that the keys don't open anything, but this key does. This key opens City Hall. So on Ash Wednesday, I hope the Grand Marshal gives it back to me because I won't be able to get in my office.
On the other side of town.
No gaudy hat. The guy a couple frames back, that was just ridiculous.
But you're right. Remember how you said it was kind of like going back in time? Listen to the music.
It is, yeah.
That guy? Is that the gaudy hat you were talking about? That's a great hat. Okay.
He opens City Hall. So on Ash Wednesday, I hope the Grand Marshal gives it back to me because I won't be able to get in my office.
Yeah, that was him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Mobile, the Honorable Sam Jones.
In accordance with time-honored custom, the official government of the city of Mobile advocates in your favor as evidenced by our closing of City Hall during your reign. Now, therefore, I, Samuel L. Jones, mayor of the city of Mobile, Alabama, do present to you your imperial majesty, Emperor Felix III, the golden key to the city of Mobile. Long live Felix, long live the king.
See, to like the wealthy, this is just amusements, right? These are just amusements. Anyway. Well, I think this is a different day than the boat trip day. So this is like the 10th event now. Oh, no, this is the same day. Sorry.
Please welcome King Felix III and the Knights of the Sword.
You know, if it's historically white or if it's historically black, you know, they keep it that way because that's just how it is. But it's just a way too for Mobile to see, okay, well, yeah, there, like I said, there is a barrier because these groups were founded as African American organization or a Caucasian organization, but it's not a snobbish, okay, we can't associate with them because they're this. It's a way for people to see, oh, they really do mingle and get along. And that's one of the major reasons that Joseph and I want to go to the MCA coronation. Because I think it will be the first time that the Mamka King and Queen have ever gone.
Like the 12th event by this time.
This is so heavy. My mother is here. I'm gonna fall over backwards.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
My dress is see-through. We just found out. Someone's trying to bring a slip, but there's a traffic jam on the highway. I'm nervous that I'm not going to pull this thing. It pulls me back every time. Really.
It almost moves you.
But it's so annoying not to have an escort. If I trip, nobody can catch me, you know? Why do they make us do it on our own?
Welcome to the 103rd coronation of a Mobile Mardi Gras Queen of the 134th year of Carnival in our beloved Mobile, Alabama, where the American Mardi Gras Carnival began. His Royal Majesty King Felix III, Emperor of Mirth and Joy, Lord of Misrule, Paul Max Barry Bruckman. King Felix is attended by his decrees, Master David William Mosteller and Master John Ritchie McPherson Prince Jr.
That's really important. Good. You're sparkling.
Oh, thank you.
Her Gracious Majesty, Queen Helen Beatrice Mayer, Empress of Charm and Beauty, ruler of our hearts.
Did he say Empress of Charm and Beauty and Ruler of our lives? It kind of sounded like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting King Alexis I, Queen Stephanie of Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association. They're here to greet King Felix and Queen Helen.
This was the first time ever in history that the Ma'am, the King and Queen ever attended the MCA coronation, and then for us to actually be announced and called out and have to walk out, that was amazing to me. But I was nervous because I didn't think we were going to do that.
I thought it was so nice that they did come, and they were just like, when you get out there and right after Max crowns you, you need to tell him that there's a change in plans.
As soon as Mr. Cooper found out, hey, we got the Ma'am, the King and Queen in here, it was like everything around us changed. Give them anything they want. And I mean, when he said that, he really meant it, to where he even assigned a waiter to us. For them to include us in their coronation, he didn't have to do that. He really didn't. They kind of gave us the cues of where to stop and where to wave, and we knew that there was the parents of the king and queen and their family, so we stopped there, and then we came around, and just to see the people applauding and standing up and all hail the King Alexis and Queen Stephanie, it was very special.
Mr. Cooper told us that we got the biggest ovation because it was just a shock for us to even be there.
Like you would do at your home, if a guest arrived, you would make them feel welcome. And I don't know a better way to make them feel welcome but to introduce them to the entire audience. And I didn't know, but I felt very sure. That their reception would be that way. It's Mobile 2007. Those days are gone.
You look so pretty. So pretty. It's a beautiful dress. So I just celebrated my 50th anniversary of being in the court. So I made it. I had a ball. I was 20 then. Are you all coming up to the King's Supper?
No, ma'am.
No. Did you all have your when? Tomorrow. Right. Well,
it was nice meeting you.
Y'all have fun.
You too. Thank you.
It was a time not very long ago when that would have absolutely never occurred. Then again, the whole court didn't go. You know what I mean? Because I think that they're not ready for that yet. They're not ready for the court of one to visit the ball of the other.
Thank you so much for coming.
I hope it at least encourages the Ma'am, the King and Queen to go every year. And maybe at some point, I don't know, I think they have something to do on the Sunday night, but I don't know, maybe at some point they'll be able to come to the Ma'am coronation. I don't know, but maybe, I don't know. Theirs is gorgeous, but it's not as formal as ours. It's kind of I won't say informal, but like the nights and stuff, they be up there with their lady, and they kind of be talking, and it's real. No way.
No, when? Can't talk when?
Not standing up here. Oh, she real quiet. She's sweet though. She real quiet.
Joseph Carroll Jones, son of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Jones.
Halsey, can you pause 1 second?
Ladies and gentlemen,
How long do we have left on this? I can't quite tell. 18 minutes?
Looks like 12 minutes. It's at 104. It goes to 118. I think.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think we'll be able to finish this. Just so everybody knows, I'm gonna have to probably. I mean, I've got to get ready to transit and not immediately, but I'm also if more people want to come in and chat, I can leave the stream open. I just didn't want to leave everybody hanging. And my hard stop will be coming up in probably like 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
So I think we can get through this.
Yeah, I mean, if you were gonna have to leave right now, actually, I was gonna go as well, but I'll probably go right after this is over then.
Yeah,
so,
cool with me.
All right. Hey, Richard.
Hello.
Let's start this up again so we can finish it up.
presenting the Knights of the 67th presentation of the Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association. Presenting King Elections the First, King of the 67th presentation of the Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association, His Royal Highness King Joseph Jermaine Roberson.
It's good to, have somebody there that you know and love. He feel like my best friend. He kind of understands. Like it's so emotional for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Her Gracious Majesty, Queen Stephanie Jacinta Luca.
It's okay. These are some brand new shoes. These should be thrown away.
Oh, here they go. I took them off with my feet.
All right, hold where you are.
Someone to count on in the world of a train. Something going on right here.
Hey, good to see you again. Doing great. Doing great. It's wonderful to see you again.
How you doing?
Doing great. Congrats.
Hi again. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Great. Are y'all ready for this?
Yeah, we're ready.
Not nervous or anything?
Hey, we just did the carnation, so I'm good now.
We about to get real busy.
been going to the Comrades Ball since 2004, and our year, this is the first time where the MCA King and Queen and the Manga King and Queen interacted like that. I mean, mingled in the crowd, took pictures with people, danced together, walked together. Like we actually mingled.
I don't think we were supposed to do that, but we kind of just got carried away with it.
I felt like a rock star. I felt like I was like up there, like at a concert.
He kept asking me while we were dancing. He was like, "This is the best. Do y'all do this all the time?"
I think if there was anything that I, to help, I hate to say the word bring it together because it implies they're more segregated than I think that they are. I just think people tend to choose to go spend time with what their families have been doing for generations and years, and that's just what they choose to do. But it would be great if you could get more people to go to the Comrades because they love it, because it's such an eye-opener. It's such a great party.
Do you know last night we presented? I know, everybody. First time ever. They just showed up. I've written them a letter for 30 years and they never come.
Yeah, right. That's you like me. And I feel very embarrassed that I had not been to do that. But now I can because we don't have anything going on Saturday night.
Well, they showed up. We didn't know it. And so I just quickly rearranged everything. They meant a lot for them coming. It's worked out really well.
We'll take care of that now.
Robinson, come on. We got to take a picture. Thank you. You look really cute.
I think the separation is more so to preserve our own perspectives on Mardi Gras, but we should still have some type of activity where both courts and both organizations could really get to know each other and not just be the focal points of Mardi Gras and just see each other at the Comrades Ball and that be it. I think it's a lot of time to where we can sit down and break bread with one another and find out a little bit more about each other.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so awesome. Thank you.
I know. Sorry.
We keep getting hooked up.
Okay, I'm all like, thank you.
Enjoyed you guys.
Yeah, we had so much fun.
Y'all enjoy Ride Tuesday.
We're gonna run over and visit with some folks over here. So, okay, great. We might take one.
I think that if I was to see them like a month or so from now, they remember who I am and hey, Joseph. So next year, I most definitely will be attending some more MCA events.
It's Malcolm finna come. Y'all better turn around and go back up there. It's the Black Parade. It's our time. Y'all gonna miss the big boo-boo. Y'all better pack her up and come on up here. Y'all got enough going on here.
Stay fighters, then rock with it. Do it, don't drop with it. Do a step with it, put your hips with it. All my ladies, let me see you put a twist with it.
You gotta get it out of here right now. We don't have time.
Can I get the trains out?
Get them out. Get them out.
Miss Pat, you need to come get our stuff and show your
My name is DeAndre Bailey. My favorite thing about the 5th grade was I got to be in the class with the real queen of Mardi Gras. I went to the coronation and watched her be the queen she is.
When my daughter was queen, they came to the house and presented that to her. And you can see what it says, the Coronation Committee of the Carnival Association for Queen Margaret Wilson Luce. Your grandmother had her hands full getting it all done. We had a lot of fun with it. The night they came by to pick her up, they come in a bus with all the ladies on the bus. So I'd set up tables in the front yard, had a hell of a party out there. You know, there's a good spirit. It developed into a fun time. I mean, oh, you can make something bad out of anything. I mean, and the spirit of Mardi Gras is fun.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 140th annual celebration of the Order of Mist. We are the oldest continually parading mystic society in existence.
I know that there's a time, there's a place for change, and I'm not trying to shun that, but I don't think anything needs to be forced on it right now. You know, it's worked well for years, for 100 years. There's always going to be problems with any large event. There are always going to be people who have issues with anything. That's, you know, you can't avoid that no matter what you do. But in my opinion, nothing needs to change.
That's Molly chasing Jack.
Yep. And that was the movie.
Excellent. I can't believe I've never seen that before. It's like right in my wheelhouse of you know.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that this covers 2007. I just don't know exactly. Let me take a look. Oh, 2008. I guess it was right after, you know, it was made. Films. That's cool. Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated with that whole section of the United States, just the, you know, the different religions that are there, the cultures and different ways of doing things, outlook.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I was born in Arkansas, and my great grandfather was in fact a Grand Dragon in the KKK. I never knew the guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've always liked I went to Georgia once and really liked the environment, you know, just the natural surroundings. It was so lush, just gorgeous. And you know, different movies that I saw have made me want to go and visit New Orleans, but I still have not been there, but I really would like to visit the area. It's just a completely different place, you know, like than from where I'm from. Just like practically a different country.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I haven't been there in years, but I mean, I hear it changes. Well, obviously it changes very slowly because that place is still stuck in like the 30s or something. So.
Right. But anyway, I'm going to take off. It's been fun and interesting. And whatever you do, Richard, I hope you have a good time doing it.
Thanks a lot. You too.
Thanks for hanging out, Halsey. Richard, very good to see you. Sorry, I mean, yeah, I'm getting close to the wrap up, but how you doing, my friend?
I'm better than I deserve. I think it's interesting and sad at the same time, and beautiful at the same time, that we're at least in small groups we're trying to comprehend the idea that we are the same animal. But then I think it's sad that they do the whole like English tradition of coronation when there's obviously other traditions. And I don't know why the English tradition is best when I mean, my people don't come from English. That's not the way we would have done it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, obviously, you know, blacks are not of that tradition. Yet somehow I don't know, societally elevated to, like they were commenting that, you know, it was really exciting to be coronated, and, you know, and the crowd and everything, and the approval, and, you know, the at least appearance of love and acceptance, which is just hugely important to us, of course, and should be. But I don't know why it would be like the English tradition. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's incredibly strange, these holdovers from monarchy and colonialism that we hold on to as if they are part of our tradition, right? Because some of the people who migrated here, yeah, it's really strange. I mean, in that case, I understand that, you know, the blacks in that situation just wanted to be acknowledged and made a part of what was going on, right, and around them. It doesn't matter where it came from. They, you know, it's just part of their tradition now, and they just want to be included.
Right on. Yeah, I can agree with that part of it. You know, love and acceptance. I get that part.
But yeah, I mean, baby steps. I mean, you still see just all of the backwardsness that goes on around there. And yeah, I don't think you're here. You know, there's the head of the parade committee, whatever it's called. It said, "Oh well, they like it that way," you know, referring to the black people of the community. And then one of the black women had said, "Oh well, they like to say that we like it that way, but what choice do we have? You know, like they're the ones in control. We just gotta go with it."
That's a good point. I don't know. I'm not exactly progressive because in a lot of ways I'm more traditional, but the whole idea that we are different people, I just know it's not true. One of the things I like to point out is that the word racist is indeed promoting racism. And we think, oh, we're using the term racist to like diminish the total concept and change people's minds about it. No, actually, no. Because if I say that I'm a member of the human, then I finish that sentence, the word that goes there is race. In fact, there's only one race of humans on the planet, and we're all the same. And to say that it's racism is making it of more import than it really is. It's not racism. It's not even that. It's ethnic prejudice. That's what it is. And it's small and it's pointless and it should be let go of. You know?
I 100% agree on that point. You know, but I think, you know, there's also there's value to remembering our not so distant past, right? And acknowledging that history,
and remembering that, that's how divided we can become. So before we think we live in a colorblind society, we really need to, kind of consider that, the historical implications, because I mean, in other cultures in times past, race didn't matter. You would, or ethnicity rather, right? People would capture and enslave people that looked essentially just like them as well, right? So, I mean, when you're talking about oppression historically, it's not centered around modern race, systemic racism the way we think of it now.
That's true.
It's really, we just have this history of looking at other cultures and saying, I don't like the way you're doing things, and then forcing them to conform to, whoever is able to become the oppressor. If they have the might, then they can just
That's the way it's
assimilate
been.
at will.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. By whatever concept a person fathoms Satan, the idea that we are different from each other in meaningful ways. I mean, I want to respect other cultures. I want to preserve the culture my folks come from, and that's all fine. But as soon as I say that I'm greater than you or I'm lesser than you, there's a problem there, and by whatever label, a rose by any other name would be just as sweet. These ideas are satanic. These pretenses of separation between us. It's just an evil thing. It never should have been. And I look forward to the day we don't have such separations. Strength and honor, Brother William. Peace and respect. Also, Athena.
I echo that sentiment. And yes, Athena, I am just about to end. I'm wrapping up right now. We'll be doing another one same time mañana. And Cryptomaria, good to see you. It's been a long time. Glad to see you in the chat there. Yeah, we should catch up sometime. All right. So with that, I do want to introduce, though, I have a topic for us. I don't know if you're available around, a little earlier than this time tomorrow. I wanted to ask you some questions about Jesus. Do you have possibly have time?
About what time you want to start?
So probably around 1. It'll be 1 a.m. on the Pacific. Be a good start time for me.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I know.
I'll make it happen. It'll be fine.
All right. Yeah.
I'll take a nap or something before that.
Okay. I greatly appreciate it. I will send you a link and a little bit more on the topic via email. And yeah, so awesome. And yeah, you're welcome to come by as well, Athena, for that discussion. Yes, and so with that, I got to wrap it up now. What?
So you mean something about 20 hours from now?
Precisely.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, thanks for letting me on your show, Kevin.
Thank you for coming, Richard. And thank you to all my guests tonight, William, Simon Hectic, and Halcyonic, Kaiju. Much love to everybody in the side chat. Saw a bunch of people over there. Missing Mod, theoretically. We had Cryptomaria. Who else am I missing? Jill was here. Rebuke and Reprove. Silver Wolf. Yeah, it's been a busy night. Much love to everyone. And I may do a short stream midday. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But definitely be around the same time tomorrow. And yeah, I think it'll be an interesting topic for everybody. So have a wonderful day or evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Much love to everyone. Be well, stay trusty, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I never say that, but if you want to, do it. Whatever. No, but do it. Like, share, and subscribe. Trusty Ape, out.